Yeah, we're good. Oh yeah, yeah. We're going to stand up the whole game. Right.
What's the first name of the official asking? I don't know him.
No,
Lenny knows who he is. I didn't write that.
I've had that before. We don't want that.
First name of the White Hat.
Wait, I can't. I'm listening to him and you. I can't hear both of y'all at the same time. Okay, I'm with you. Let me take my headsets off for just a second. I got to get my binoculars.
They asked Lenny the first name of the White Hat, the last name Galbraith. The White Hat?
We're taking no shots up here tonight, huh? Nothing's going to be up here.
No, we're not. We're done.
All right.
Tony Galbraith. That's the referee.
His name isn't Tony, that's why I didn't know it.
Referee is Tony Galbraith. Mark Galbraith. Mark Galbraith. Galbraith. Okay. Galbraith. Okay. All righty. It's going to be hot as hell up here, but that's okay.
Told him from now on we got to go in that other room when we're playing when we got St. Aug.
Yeah, but they said that they moved over here because the two was.
Yeah, but I knew. I said there's no way because they take.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, and those are important because people see that on the pictures and they don't know what it's about. So I'm glad you're gonna cover. You have enough room? Do you need us to move down any? I already rearranged a little bit.
Well, you need this area here for your.
I'm just gonna hold it with my hands because it's. I'm gonna put it down over here. See if I got a fan in here. Here come the John Curtis Patriots, 5-0 on the season, undefeated in District 9 5A with a 3-0 record. And also undefeated in District 9 5A, the St. Aug Purple Knights with a record of 3-3 on the year. We're going downstairs to the third member of our broadcast team on the field. Les, what do you have for us?
Hi, guys. This series does not have a lengthy history, but it does have a memorable one, especially in the last few years. Last year, John Curtis won 21-14 on a late pick six. St. Aug won the 2 years prior to that, once by a point, once by 2 points. You might remember Leonard Fournette's dazzling two-point conversion run in 2013. So even though they don't have a lot of history between these schools, this is only the 10th meeting. Recent history suggests we might be going to the wire before this one's decided. Ken?
Yeah, you would expect that, and you would expect nothing less from these two teams. Al Jones, the coach of the St. Aug Purple Knights, St. Augustine Purple Knights on your left, and J.T. Curtis, the second winningest high school coach of all time on the right, and the winningest, most active coach of all time. We are set to go to Colby Williams, the very dangerous to Colby Williams, who has a couple of returns for kicks for touchdowns, has the football in his hands, and Curtis will bring him down at the 30-yard line. Garland LaFrance with that return. So we will now see one of the young, fine quarterbacks. Well, I say young, he started when he was young. Justice McCoy, 6'2", 170 pounds, and he has done it all for this St. Augustine Purple Knight team. Great numbers on the year, and when Justice McCoy is back there, you can have a lot of confidence in your quarterback.
Well, he likes to throw the ball vertical, Ken. He loves to get the ball down the field.
Nothing fancy on first down. Just a couple of yards gained on first down. Pierre Barberin, and that gives us an opportunity to look at some key players. And we just saw one of those guys carrying the football right there in Pierre Barberin, but watch when they throw the football.
Watch when they throw the ball. You're going to see number 88, Keith Settle. You're going to see him play wide receiver. You're going to see him play tight end today. He's averaging 10.9 yards a catch. So the guy is electrifying.
Once again, the Purple Knights will test that Curtis defense, and Barberin won't get much up the middle. And as you look at that Curtis defense, you're looking at some excellent football players, including Garrett Wallow.
Especially Garrett Wallow, as you said. He's a TCU commitment who plays all over the field. Keep your eyes up and make sure you're watching number 1 today, because he's going to make some great plays for the John Curtis Patriots.
Third down, 4 for St. Aug on this opening drive of the football game. They will go to the air, and this time they go to Settle. And we just talked about him, and he will be stopped short of the first down. Good extra effort by him to try to get the first down.
Well, they hit Settle coming across on motion. Here's another look at it. You can see him kind of getting out there into a way to get into a wide receiver screen. They catch him. Curtis does a great job pursuing the ball. A lot of white jerseys getting to the point of attack.
Now, your quarterback is also your punter. Justice McCoy averages 50, looks like punt formation, but you never know. And of course, this early you would expect him to do exactly what he did. But since your quarterback is your punter, you can't go too deep. Fumble on the ground, loose football, and Curtis saves it. My goodness. That was almost disaster, but Cade Como with a big save for the Patriots down there.
Right, Ken, the biggest thing about all these rugby punts and squib punts and all the things you're seeing in the game today, it's just better to get out of the way of the ball. It's going to pop on the ground. It's going to spin around. It's going to bounce off your feet, off your hands. You're not getting these nice punts up in the air anymore. You're seeing it in the college game today, too. People making bad decisions on catching punts.
Curtis uses a 2-quarterback system, and we're going to see the senior quarterback, Blaine Hebert, start this game. Blaine Hebert, 5'10", 185, a lot of experience. Works under center. And they will test the St. Aug defensive front on first down, and you'll find that there's not much going there. Some of the key players to watch offensively is the running back, Marquise Albert, who just carried that ball, but it's the guys blocking for Marquise that you really have to give credit to.
Well, those guys got to get the job done today up front. One of them's going to be big Lance Mayfield. I tell you, he's another one of those outstanding offensive linemen that John Curtis just continually, year after year after year, puts out.
Second down for the Patriots. And Hebert on a pitch. Albert, it was high, but he pulls it down, and look at him turn the corner and go before being pushed out of bounds. Picks up the first down. Marquise Albert on what looked like a disastrous pitch, pulls it down and gains 34 yards around the right side.
Here's another look at it. They're running outside veer. He disconnects off his read. It's a triple option. Read 1, read 2, pitch 3 right there. When you play man coverage, which what St. Aug is in right there, you're going to have to account for the pitch. They did not account for the pitch. Big gain for Marquise Albert.
We just talked about how explosive Albert could be, especially when he gets the blocking. And they'll just go straight ahead. And we can show you some of the key defensive Purple Knight players we're going to keep a very keen eye on, including Mr. Kyle Jackson.
Well, Kyle Jackson, number 14, you can see him line up with his hand in the ground. He's going to be standing up as a linebacker. He plays with a fast motor. He's a Purple Knight sack leader. Keep your eyes on number 14 today. He's going to have to play assignment football, especially against the veer offense of John Curtis.
Second down for the Patriots. 6. There's the bit. That's the errant pitch. And it's saved.
Well, here's the deal, Ken. They're taking the dive. They're taking the quarterback. So the third option is the pitch. There's nobody on the pitch, man. But Curtis is going to have to get the ball there. They can't put it on the ground like that. When they get the pitch there, you're going to have big plays. You can see right there, it just didn't get the pitch there. He's lucky it goes out of bounds.
Got to bring up third down. Few yards lost on that. Make it 3rd down and 7. Hebert works under center, and he'll throw over the head of the intended receiver, incomplete.
That was number 6. Tyrone Leggett was the intended receiver right there, running a little bubble screen out there. Just didn't get the ball to him, overthrew. Not a very good throw right there. It's going to bring up 4th and long for them. They're in 4-down territory. I got to think that they're going to go for it here, unless they run their punt team out there real fast, which is what they're doing. Curtis has always done this, Ken. They run their punt team out real fast, try to mix up what you're trying to do with your return game.
Brock Onestell is the punter. And we've got St. Aug calls timeout. We'll take a timeout with them right here. St. Aug and Curtis. No score. Tad Gormley, City Park, New Orleans.
real deal, the real McCoy, and he's an outstanding football player. Good look at him right there. 6'2", 270 pounds.
Absolutely. Solid, too. Love that height, that 6'2" that you talked about. He could just see over the oncoming rushers. Justice McCoy runs so very well. Here's your second down play. Flag thrown. McCoy around the right side on the keeper. Let's sort the flag out and see what this is all about.
Offense, number 54.
We've got an offensive holding penalty on number 54 from St. Aug, so they're going to back it up half the distance to the goal line.
Mark Galbraith is our referee tonight, or this afternoon.
54, half the distance, replay second down.
They got Avery McMillan with the hands in the wrong place.
Pretty experienced offensive line.
Here's a
for
look
the St.
at it.
Aug Purple Knights, too.
You can
4
see,
seniors.
Right, you can see right there, Justice McCoy pulls the ball out on the read option. I'd like to see him put that ball away. He's kind of hanging it down on his hip, Ken.
Puts him behind the sticks for second down. Second and 13. Tipped up and pulled down. And brought into the end zone for a John Curtis touchdown. I think that's Teron Cherry.
You are absolutely
Yes,
correct.
it is. Teron Cherry.
Teron Cherry, every linebacker's dream, catching the interception for a touchdown. They try to set up a screen to St. Aug's right, covering real well is Teron Cherry. What Justice should have done was just thrown the ball at the feet of the receiver, the running back, come back and play another down. Everybody in white jerseys was around the screen. It gets tipped, it gets picked. 6 points, Patriots.
Every linebacker or defensive player's dream. Pick 6.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Absolutely. But it started off with a bad decision from Justice McCoy. They're trying to set up the screen, nobody there. You've got to ground the ball at the receiver's feet and just live to play another down. Throw the ball away.
Josh Hartley for the point after to give Curtis a 7-0 lead. It is kicked up and good, and the Patriots take the early lead with 7:15 to play here at Tad Gormley, City Park, New Orleans. There's your touchdown by Teron Cherry. John Curtis to kick off after the pick 6 touchdown off the tip drill. And this time Jacoby Williams gets his hands on the football, but the Patriots stuff him at the 20-yard line. Let's take another look at that interception off the tip drill.
Yeah, it looks like volleyball right here, Ken. Boom, tipped into the air by 93
Addison.
right there. Yeah,
Jamari
Addison tips it. It looks like he's setting it up in a volleyball net, doesn't he? Boom, tips it up in the air. Teron Cherry picks it off for the slam and walks into the end
There's
zone.
your setup.
There's your setup, and there's your
Just
kill right
puts
there.
it
Boom.
right into his hands, and there
Tell
he
you what,
goes.
is that awesome or what? I wonder if they practice that. Defensive
They-
lineman tipping the ball up. Knowing JT, they practice
They
that.
practice it. Knowing JT, absolutely. JT Curtis is going to practice everything. On first down, and once again, the St. Aug offense sputters, having trouble getting anything started in this game so far.
That was Jamari Addison again on a big play right there. 6'4", 275 pounds. He's a senior. He's a solid defensive lineman. Right there to make the play and shut down the run and sweep of the Purple Knights.
Garland LaFrance, your running back. Fake to him. the keeper by Justice McCoy. He gets a few positive yards up to the 35-yard line, but you're looking at a third down and about a little bit more than 5 to move the chains again, keep the drive going.
Well, right there, Justice McCoy runs the read option, tucks it up inside to pick up a few yards. He's holding that ball rather loosely. He needs to get that thing tucked away, or those guys in the white jerseys will knock it out and cause another turnover.
McCoy on 3rd down and 7 will throw, and this one's interception by Wallow.
Tell you what, John Curtis had everything covered right there that time. Nobody to throw to. What does Justice McCoy do? He tries to throw it into the coverage. You'll see it right here. He tries to force it, and right there to pick the ball up was Garrett Wallow.
Garrett Wallow, we talked about him in the open. That's the TCU commit, the senior, and
I said you got to keep your eyes up. Watch him today because he's everywhere on the field right there. It's evident. Great set of hands on the pick. Sets up Curtis in the red zone.
2 turnovers by the Purple Knights, and once again the game is being played in the St. Aug red zone. Here's a stumble, yet positive yardage coming from Marquise Albert on the left side, as John Curtis has a golden opportunity if they can score here to put a little pressure on this Purple Knight offense and defense on this series.
Outside veer. Great read right there. The last man on the line of scrimmage is up the field for the Purple Knights. It's an automatic give read for the quarterback on the outside veer, and he creases it. Like I said, the veer is like Novocaine. Those running backs are like Novocaine. They're going to go 3, they're going to go 4, they're going to go 5, and then sooner or later it's going to blast for a big one.
And off the Marquise Albert again. He'll just slant off tackle, pushing inside the 10, down to the 5. That's enough to move the chains. First down and goal for the Patriots.
When we're talking about John Curtis today, you're going to hear me say these words: outside veer, inside veer, triple option. It's a triple option offense where there's going to be 3 reads. You're going to get a good look at it right here on the outside veer. 1-2 steps by the quarterback right into the belly of the running back, who's running right off the hip of the tackle and tight end box area. They're reading the last man on the line of scrimmage. He was up the field. That's an automatic give read for that quarterback.
Chauncey Crum comes in at running back. And we have an injured official on the far side.
I think it's going to be all right. Ken, you might have to get out there and call.
Where's my flag?
There's your flag. There you go.
Tommy Cooper brought it. As a matter of fact, he's got an extra one. Good stat man always has a couple of yellow flags.
I can see it saying on his lips, I'm all right, play ball. He's good to go.
Those guys played the game too. They're ready. This is your freshman quarterback, Colin Guggenheim, running this series. He'll put that ball into the stomach of Chauncey Crum. Crum over the right side. Crum close, but not there. And Crum gets in. Touchdown.
Oh, I'll tell you what, they run power that time. They double at the point of attack. The lead kick-out block was by number 5, Marquise Albert. Chauncey Crum rams it right up inside off tackle for the touchdown. Chauncey Crum is only a freshman. He's 5'10", 188 pounds, and he averages 7.9 yards a carry.
Freshman handing off to a freshman for the score.
There you go.
Freshman quarterback handing off to the freshman running back. As touchdown by Chauncey Crum, set up by that fine interception by defensive back Garrett Wallow. Hartley's point after is good. Another look at that interception.
I'll tell you what. Take a look at the sprint out right here. Justice McCoy forces it in. Great pick, Wallow.
Tad Gormley, City Park Stadium, New Orleans, Louisiana. John Curtis, a quick 2-touchdown lead. Everything's been played on the St. Aug side of the field, and stepping into the end zone, breaking the plane. Dead ball coming out, even though it's in the hands of the Purple Knights. Colby Williams will not be able to return it. Let's take another look at the touchdown. The freshman Guggenheim handing off to the freshman Crum.
You can see the double down at the point of attack and the kick out by the running back right there for Chauncey Crum to get it right up into the crease off tackle on a power play for the 6 points.
All right, we've got under 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. St. Aug has generated no offense. They're now 2 touchdowns behind. They've got to get something going on this series. J.T. Curtis always knows how to put a good defense together for the Patriots. McCoy gets by a couple of tacklers, and he's across the 20 and up to the 25-yard line for a gain of 5.
McCoy's a talented athlete. He can make you miss in a phone booth, Ken, I tell you what, and then he's got the arm to prove it. He's just got to settle down a little bit right now because he seems to be a little bit out of sorts, nothing there. At least he tucks it and runs it. He's got to put the ball away, as I've said a couple of times before. But the deal is he's got to calm down and get this Purple Knight offense rolling.
Pierre Barberin straight ahead, just trying to move the chains, and I think he does. First down. That's the initial first down by the St. Aug Purple Knights in this game, coming at the 4:14 mark of the first quarter.
Well, that's what they got to put. They got to put together a few chain movements here to get themselves calmed down, to get themselves back on track.
Give to Pierre Barberin again. And Barberin just picking up chunks of real estate 5 yards at a time up to the 35. A gain of 5.
Colby Augeron right there on the tackle for the Curtis Patriots, but it was a nice pickup right there by Barberin. You can see a good look at it right there. There's his season numbers, 66 rushes, 274 yards, 2 TDs. Put the ball in his belly, and he's going to pick up some yards for you.
As good as Barberin is, Justice McCoy, your quarterback, is your leading rusher because he can do that with the football. When you think you've got him bottled up in the line of scrimmage, he slips through to pick up first down yardage. Or will they have to measure this one? They won't. They finally move into chains. So he does pick up the first down. I'm sorry.
He does pick up the first down. But have you noticed how St. Aug is trying to pick up tempo? I don't think they were in this tempo to start the game. They seem to move the ball better on offense when they are in tempo. Getting back up, getting the play in from upstairs, getting it downstairs, getting it communicated to the quarterback. Quarterback communicates it to everybody on the field. Let's pick up the tempo a little bit for the Purple Knights. That seems to be in their element.
Well, you're looking at big Latrell Dace. And he's the center. He came out of the ball game for just a moment.
The tight end is coming off on Mike Backer, right? And if the tight end is coming off on Mike Backer.
Well, you know, the tempo is the big thing, and I know this is killing Al Jones right now. They're ready to roll, and they're standing there holding things, trying to get the substitutions in, not only for themselves, but they got to give Curtis the chance to get their subs on the field too. Here they go. They're ready to roll now.
All right, they just moved the chains. First down, 10. Going right up the middle with it. And again, they're just going to try to push it. And nothing wrong with this offense because you're getting 5 yards every carry.
Well, if they can establish the running game off this, they'll be able to throw the ball vertically down the field off of play-action passes. Nice little inside ISO right there.
Barberin could do it before. They're giving LaFrance an opportunity to. The fake to LaFrance this time. McCoy on the keeper. Can't turn the corner. His body's so long, he just falls forward for a 2-yard gain. Bring it up third down and short. Another look at it.
Here's another look at it right here. He pulls the ball off the zone read. And I tell you what, take a good look at Jamari Addison. This is about the 4th time we've called this young man's name. He makes a great play right there, getting off the block, taking the quarterback on the option and pulling him down. There he is. Good look at that young man.
Third down, 4. Justice McCoy changing the play. Flags down. Somebody moved. This I think this is going to be offense.
Nigga snapping traction on the offense. 5 yards. Repeat third down.
If you're injured on Friday, the Oshner Sports Medicine Institute is open on both the North and South Shore for Saturday morning clinic. Oshner Sports Medicine, the region's most comprehensive sports medicine services. Here goes the play. Oh, it bounces right off the stomach of Jamal Jalla. Hit him right by the shoulder pads, chest area, and bounced off. and LaJala had the first down. Jamal Jalla, a wide receiver, got a start in this game today. All excited about it. And
Ball
missed
right
the
on the
golden
numbers?
opportunity. I know.
Literally, right on the numbers. It's got to get caught. It's plays like that that are going to make or break you. That has to get caught.
He'd have caught that about 1 yard short of the first down. So now on fourth down, McCoy has to punt it away. And, of course, Curtis has no one deep because, as we stated earlier, your quarterback is your punter, and because of that, you've got to respect the short pass. Next week on the first NBC Bank Prep Showcase, it's more Saturday football as Newman takes on Country Day. Catch it live next Saturday at 2 p.m. on Sports NOLA, or watch the same day rebroadcast at 6 p.m. on WHNO.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Newman and Country Day.
We're going to be outside for that one. Ken's sitting out under a tarp for that. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to have a lot of fun with that.
Next week on the first NBC Bank Prep Showcase, always a lot of fun. But we've been looking forward to doing a game from there for quite a while. A 48-yard punt by Justice McCoy, who averages 50, so he's right there at his average. Curtis hasn't started this deep in a while at their own 10-yard line. Hebert is back at quarterback for the Patriots. And boy, he got smacked coming down. Got hit really hard by Jesse Moore.
Inside ISO right there. They double down, base block, and they lead up on the bubble on the ISO. You can see him getting right up inside right there, and he got stuck real hard by Jesse Moore coming up and filling that hole.
Second down, 8 for the Patriots. Again, you'll see both Blaine Hebert, the senior, and Guggenheim, the freshman quarterback. They alternate the two-quarterback system that works for the Patriots. Give, and boy, just a hard fight and push by Chauncey Crum. Not much. He fought hard for it.
They come back with the same play, Ken. It's a base at the point of attack, a double team down at the point of attack. They're going to lead a running back up inside on the bubble of the defense, on the isolate onto the linebacker. Chauncey Crum rams it up inside, no place to go.
What happened? Big number 99, Dante Carter, a defensive lineman. He just got down low, and everybody piled up high on him, and there was no place for Crum to go. He couldn't bounce outside either because that was all well covered. So here's your third down play. They'll throw it out. Intercepted by the Purple Knights. Coming back the other way by the Purple Knights as running room. And into the end zone. Touchdown by Rodney Coleman. Or is that? Yeah, Rodney Coleman.
Rodney Coleman, the right place at the right time. Let me tell you what happened, though. They run a little pick route out there, or a rub route out there. Can't say pick. You don't want to say that from the offensive standpoint. A rub route out there. They have both wide receivers open. Quarterback just throws the ball up in the air, lands right into the hands of Rodney Coleman, and he gets his pick six today. That senior, 6 foot, 165-pound cornerback for the St. Aug Purple Knights.
Returns at 22 yards for the score. And how's that for having if your offense is sputtering a little bit and needs help, call on your defense to get you back in the football game. So we might have a one-score game with less than a minute to play in the first quarter here at Tad Gormley Stadium. And that one was no good.
That might have been partially blocked.
I was about to say, did somebody get a hand on that? Or
let's take a look at it right here. Oh, here's your good look. And look at the wide receivers in white that are open. You couldn't see right there behind Rodney Coleman that there was another John Curtis receiver wide open. Just couldn't get him the ball. The quarterback just kind of floats it up in the air and right into Rodney Coleman's hand, and he gets his pick six. There's a good look at it again. You can see right there. Yeah, right. Tell you
what. Watch this hit coming here.
I don't know if I saw the late hit, just didn't get to see it on the replay. But I tell you what, you had Kyle Pierce wide open off of the rub route out there. It just couldn't get him the ball. That might have been 6 the other way had they gotten the ball there. Rodney Coleman, Johnny on the spot on a poor pass for the touchdown.
Still a one-score ball game now.
Right. If your offense can't score, let's make sure your defense does. That might be the spark that they need to get those Purple Knights back on track and rolling. You know, they showed a little bit more energy in their last offensive series. They pick up a first down, and they've got to try to find sparks wherever they can get it. Good look right there of the points off turnovers for the Purple Knights.
3 turnovers and 3 touchdown scores. off the turnovers. Defense getting 2 of them and helping the offense with great field position to get the other for John Curtis. Short kick picked up by Cade Como.
Skied kick right there.
Take that
Cade
back.
Como.
That's Chauncey Crum picking that one up.
Right, Chauncey Crum picks up the ball, gets it up the field. It's going to start with pretty good field position for the Patriots.
So we're going to see the freshman back in, Colin Guggenheim, son of a John Curtis, pretty good football player, Rodney Guggenheim. Pretty good numbers on Guggenheim on the season. Completing 52% of his passes, not bad for a freshman. Flags are down.
I think they're going to get false start out of Marquise Alberts. He's leaning a little bit too much.
Number 7.
Trying to get a quick start there.
I was about to say, think he's antsy? Think he wants the football?
It's like coming out of the blocks on the Veer offense. These guys are down and their hands weighted heavy, hard going forward. And he's trying to get out the blocks fast. He's just a little too quick getting there.
That's a little anxiety by the junior running back. So again, testing that inside. And Ernest Jones with his first carry of the evening, a junior, 5'8", 160.
Right, you're going to see a lot of running backs today. You know, basically Marquise Albert in there, but what you're not going to see is Darian Washington, who we found out earlier today. He's going to be out. So you're going to see taking Darian Washington place Chauncey Crumbs, Ernest Jones, Mekhi Smith, all carrying the load for the injured Darian Washington.
Yeah, a little nagging ankle injury, and if he doesn't need him, he'd rather not play him. And just he's deep enough at running back. And then this guy right here can carry the load all by himself. Look at that cut back in by Marquise Albert. Look at this. He gets by everybody. Marquise Albert to the end zone for the touchdown. On the final play of the quarter, a 70-yard touchdown run by Marquise Albert, as pretty as it gets. But there's a flag on the play back at the 31-yard line. So hold everything.
Well, I think here's our call right here.
Block in the back. Off.
Yep, there you go.
Number 15.
Right.
10 yards from the start of the foul. We will replay second down.
If we get a chance to see it on the replay, what we're going to see is Glenn Beal coming down inside right there on the crack block on the lead option. The lead option had a crack block on it. They get a block in the back. That's what's calling it back. And they pitch the ball out there to Marquise Albert, who I said can really turn on the jets when he's going. You had Ernst Jones coming out, curling around the crack block to block the support coming from the corner. Got a nice block out there, but it will not go because of the block in the back. That's the problem with the crack block, Ken, is when you come down, they're going to turn their back to you. And if you don't get your head across it, they're going to give you a block in the back penalty every time.
Look how upset he is.
You're going to have one untimed down because it ended the penalty ended the quarter.
And there's your untimed down with Chauncey Crum, ending the quarter by gaining a few on the right side. We have played one at Tad Gormley's City Park Stadium, New Orleans, Louisiana. 14-6, John Curtis by 8. SportsNola.com. Prep Football is presented by First NBC Bank and has a Catholic League matchup between Jesuit and Rummel tonight at Joe Yeni Stadium. Catch the Blue Jays and the Raiders tonight at 7, live at SportsNola.com.
Boy, we said one of the keys to the game, Ken, is St. Aug's special teams. You know, they're going to have to make sure that they can score. We know that. Whether they got to do it defensively or offensively, they're going to have to get those PATs kicked.
Guggenheim, the freshman, wants to throw it long. He's got a man there, but can't get the football to him. Threw it way off to the right. A flag is down also, and it was intended for Tyrone Leggett.
Let's see what our call is here.
Personal foul.
There we go.
Roughing the quarterback.
There you go.
Number 26. 15 yards, automatic first down.
Rodney Coleman, who intercepted that pass and returned it for 6.
I didn't recognize that first signal he was given, Ken, the one under the chin.
Oh, under the chin. Right
Maybe that was like a little chin music. You think that's what that was? Chin music? I don't know. But, yeah, we've got the personal foul on roughing the quarterback right there on number 26. As you saw, that was Rodney Coleman, who was the guy that had the pick 6. Now he comes back and he roughs the quarterback and gives Curtis the first down. But going back to that.
If that was chin music, Guggenheim wants to turn his iPod off. I promise you that. He didn't want to hear any more of it.
Uh-oh. But I tell you what, they had Leggett wide open on the deep ball.
Yeah, I think he saw it coming. Guggenheim on a keeper for a few.
Outside veer follow. What he did right there is he fakes the jab on the outside veer and just follows his running back right off the hip of the tackle, inside hip of the tight end, and follows it and tries to hit a crease off of the veer path.
Bruce and Cheatham on the stop. 2nd down, 8 for the Patriots. Opening minute of the second quarter of play. Guggenheim. Looks like he had trouble. He fumbled it. Looked like he had trouble getting that football from the center. Then it looked as if he had it and then lost it again.
Well, it was off the mesh. I don't think the mesh was quite there on the outside veer path that they were trying to run.
They're still fighting over that football, and the officials have not yet made a call. Now they have Patriots.
They gave it back to John Curtis, but that's a nightmare's dream for an option quarterback, because you got to make sure you're trying to get the read, and if the read is cloudy, you're going to end up possibly putting that ball on the ground because it's going to cause you to hesitate.
Dante Carter, number 99, defensively upset. Let's see if we can see why. He thinks he must have had that football, but the big guy right there, he's not even close to it at the end.
I see a purple hat at the bottom of the pile with his hands around the ball, so they got it right. They gave it to St. Aug. But as I was saying, if you get a cloudy read, and he got a cloudy read on his option right there, he didn't know what to do. Here's the deal, Ken. When in doubt, give. That's the bottom line with an option team. When in doubt, give.
Another turnover. St. Aug with it. Justice McCoy will hand it off. There's the hole for Barberin that he's been looking for, and Barberin inside the 30-yard line as the St. Aug offense with that little spark they needed.
It's the inside zone read right there. Does a nice little jump cut at the line of scrimmage. Here's a good look at it. There's your jump cut right there. Hits the crease.
18 yards.
And he's running free into the John Curtis secondary.
This time a give to Barberin and a take back as McCoy keeps it, pulled it right out the belly. And he goes down, and now he's scrambling. Didn't want to go down. It's hard to bring down that big 6'2" frame.
Well, he pulls the ball, disconnects off the zone read, keeps the ball, and rams it up inside. And as you said, he's hard to bring down. You know, he is the real McCoy.
Leading rusher.
Right. He can throw it. He can run it. He is a dual threat.
Thing 303 yards rushing coming into the game, but more importantly, he averages right under 5 yards a carry. So when he touches that football, something good's going to happen. Here's Barberin. Nothing.
Nowhere to go that time. 57, the linebacker, Teron Cherry, who we talked about earlier today with the pick 6 off the tip ball, makes a big play right at the line of scrimmage. Teron Cherry, fine football player. John Curtis has a pair of fine linebackers, number 54, Andre Seymour, and number 57, Teron Cherry. These guys are always making plays. I call them thumpers, Ken. They thump people when they hit them.
Well, St. Aug needs 4. Right here, they're going to pitch it to Landers. Landers around the right side, has the first down. Just came in at running back. Ismail Landers, a senior, 6'0", 190. Picks up a first down on his initial carry of this game, and he does it with a 10-yard gain.
Toss sweep, they get it outside onto the edge. Nobody's setting the edge for the Curtis Patriots. You had a nice group of blocking linemen getting out there in front of him to give him room to run and pick up the nice first down.
At the 11-yard line, there's your season numbers on Landers. Landers again gets the call. He's inside the 10. And remember, St. Aug can get a first down before. I mean, you'd be right at the goal line to get it, but if they need it, they can get that first down without scoring a touchdown.
Again, they're back into their tempo offense, and this is what they like to be in. They don't like to slow the tempo. They want to press the pace and get the play in fast and get rolling at the line of scrimmage.
McCoy works under center. Watch Settle on the right side. He's going to be used as a blocker this time for Landers. Landers, though, gang tackled in a rugby scrum as he gets back to the line of scrimmage, and somehow that ball gets away and is picked up by the Curtis Patriots, and the Curtis Patriots going the other way. How do the Patriots come up with that football?
I think it was just ripped right out of his arms, Ken, right
Brandon
there on the
Davis.
sideline. Brandon Davis or someone ripped it right out of his arms, and they're taking it back the other way. Let's see if we can see it on the replay. Here's a toss sweep, crack block. Nice job right there.
It's coming in this rugby scrum right
here.
Ripped
out, right there, ripped
out by Brandon Davis. Wow. Curtis needing a big defensive play, and they get it, leading in this game. What a rip, and a 45-yard return with the football after Brandon Davis just strips that ball right out of a St. Aug player's hands.
Ken, it's about ball security. I've told you all day today, watching some of the St. Aug guys, how they're holding the football. Curtis is coached to turn the ball over. When they're in a pile, rip at the ball, pull at the ball, get the turnover, and there's your result.
5 turnovers in less than 16 minutes. Make it 6 turnovers because the senior quarterback, Hebert, just turns it over again, and St. Aug gets it right back. So Blaine Hebert comes in as the senior quarterback on this series, and boom, fumbles the ball.
I think that was number 53, Jonathan Brown, gets that turnover. Again, they're trying to run outside veer into their boundary. John Curtis is. Not a clean mesh. Quarterback either is trying to pull it on the disconnect. Something's wrong with the mesh right there. There's your mesh, and it just pops out, ball in the air. Again, if the read is cloudy on triple option, here's the bottom line. Give the ball. Don't fight it. Give the ball. Come back, play another down.
Justice McCoy says, we gave it to you. You didn't want it. We took it back. I want it. No, you got it. That's what we're doing, back and forth. McCoy will hand it off on first down, and boy, the Patriot defense just stuffs this one. Nowhere to go. Jay Curtis, Carrillo, Tuuta, Anderson, Jamari Addison coming up there. Playing tough for the Patriots. Second down for Justice McCoy. No gain on that last play. Got Barberin behind him as the running back. Took a lot of time. Flag down.
Fair away, quick. Number 55. 5 yards. Didn't have his mouthpiece in, had it in the thing. 55.
I think you heard it right there. He did not have his mouthpiece in, so it's illegal equipment. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. In high school, got to have both chin strap snaps snapped. I said that real slow. And you got to have your mouthpiece in, or it is an illegal equipment penalty.
Sands green. McCoy looking to put, throws it right into the hands of a Patriot, and we're going the other way. We're going all the way. And this one, a score by Ryan Gilmore for the John Curtis Patriots, 49 yards for another pick six.
Justice McCoy pulls the ball on the zone read option and turns it into a option pass right there. You can see there's the disconnect. He wants to throw it out here to his intended receiver, and stepping right in the path of the ball was number 21, Ryan Gilmore, for the pick six. I tell you what.
It's officially a fumble return because that was a lateral.
Right, so there we go.
They're going to say it's a 50-yard return.
Right.
50-yard return for the score.
And here's the deal. It's triple option. He should have kept the ball. Don't try to force things on triple option football, and he tried to force it.
Josh Hartley will be in to attempt the point after when Mark Galbraith starts play. We got a flag. I think that's illegal participation.
Meaning they had 12 people on the field. You just saw the Purple Knight 12th man run off the field.
Now that everybody has the right personnel on, we'll swing the gate left.
Great look at the swinging gate right there from our end zone shot. What a great shot by our camera guys.
And if someone makes a mistake and doesn't cover who they're supposed to, you'll see what happens when they don't swing back to the center and kick it. Snap, place, kick, flag down. So let's see what happens with the flag.
Didn't have his mouthpiece in again. So somebody's getting called, and you can see he's telling the Curtis coaches what the issue is. Got to play with a mouthpiece in high school. In college, you don't have to. The pros, you don't have to. However, in high school, you got to have a mouthpiece in. So they're going to back it up 5 yards, kick it again.
Look, the way this game's going, we don't need anybody to put more of a thrill into the extra point.
You're right, huh? Tell you what, we had some wild turnovers for 6 points. We had a volleyball play. We had a floater. We've had a fumble recovery. We've had a lateral pick.
Hartley now for the long extra point. And he drills it through. It is good. 7:45 to play in the first half. Another look at the touchdown as John Curtis goes ahead 21-6 on a 50-yard return by Gilmore. Time now for Traditions, presented by Joseph A. Bank, the new tradition since 1905 with locations downtown in Metairie and in Mandeville. St. Augustine made history in 1978 when it defeated Jesuit in the first ever state championship game played in the Superdome. The game was such a box office success that it led in 1981 to the launch of the Superdome Classic with all championship games at that one site. Flag is down on the return by Tacalvi Williams, and get this, but we haven't really seen Tacalvi Williams at all in this first half.
Well, you saw him right there. What a great move he put on the guy, but it's going to come back probably because of blocking the back or a hold.
But he's been kept in check.
Yes, he has.
Right after this call by Mark Galbraith, our referee, we're going to go downstairs to Les East, who's getting a little bit more on that tradition story. Les, take it away.
Number 4.
It's behind the Prep Classic in the Superdome, of course, was Bill Curl, the longtime publicist for the Superdome. He retired from the Dome 6 years ago, but he's still very active, working part-time as a publicist for John Curtis Christian School. And Bill is here at the game today, and he's been close to the Curtis program for a while. Both of his sons played on state championship football teams under J.T. Curtis. So Bill Curl, a driving force behind not only that Jesuit St. Aug game, but the ultimate institution of the Prep Classic in the Superdome, which, of course, we look forward to every year. Back to you, Ken.
Yeah, you better believe it. Well, 4 fumbles on the last 10 plays from scrimmage. Now we'll say the last 11 as Barberin holds on to that football, and that's how exciting it's been. Barberin just shaking his head because there's nowhere to go.
There was nowhere to go there. He was running into a picture-perfect look of the John Curtis defensive line, led by Jamari Anderson.
Little bitty guy, but good legs, good push. 5'8", 180, and you could see when we ISO'd on him just a moment ago how small he looks in that backfield, but if he gets just a seam, he doesn't run small. Not at all. He's off to the left of McCoy, who hands off to Barberin, looking for some room around the right side. Goes down.
Reed sweep right there. He's looking at the last man on the line of scrimmage, deciding whether to hand the ball off to the sweep, which was Barberin, or to keep the ball and pull it himself and run the ball. And he decided to hand it off that time to Barberin.
Tyler Blanco on the stop along with Deron Cherry.
For a nice pickup.
At the 30, 3rd down 3, trying to keep this drive alive. Needs 3 yards to do it. He gets them and more. He opened the hole that time, and Garland LaFrance pops through to move the chains. First down, and I believe as we get to almost the halfway point of this second quarter, St. Aug realizes there's got to be a little bit of purpose in this drive.
Well, Garland LaFrance has a motor. We haven't seen him much yet today, but when he gets into the open field, he's hard to catch, and he was running right there through the Curtis secondary untouched until somebody drug him down off the inside zone.
27-yard gain. Looking for Jacoby Williams somewhere in this half to do something for these Purple Knights. He's been so very quiet. McCoy on the keeper, and you can tell he's a little bit frustrated.
Well, he disconnected right there off the Reed sweep. And I thought it was a good read. It's what he needed to do. He got the last man on the line of scrimmage to widen out. You can see the Curtis defensive lineman right there, number 96, widening out. That was Stephen Poole, and he pulls the ball and rams it up inside.
LaFrance across the 50 into Curtis Patriot territory, but short of the first down. So we're going to be looking at 3rd down and short yardage again.
Here's LaFrance on the inside zone. Right there. They're reading the last man on the line of scrimmage on that play also. The read was a give. Good read right there by Justice McCoy.
Puts it into LaFrance's stomach, pulls it out, throws. He finally finds Jacoby Williams. There goes Jacoby. Jacoby on the race to the end zone. Dives. Is he in? No, he's out of bounds before he gets to the goal line at the 3-yard line. Well, we just said in order for St. Aug to start to make a comeback, they've got to get Jacoby Williams in this offense, and they just did for 46 yards.
Run pass option. Disconnects, throws a slant route right there, hits him in space. Watch him run in space. Brandon Davis is lucky to race him down and just knock him out right at the edge of the end zone.
Now, up to that point, your cornerbacks Garrett Wallow and Donald Clay have done just a fine job on Jacoby Williams. Now it's 1st and goal. 2 touchdowns behind. St. Aug needs this one to stay close before halftime. Give to Barberin. Barberin trying to force the middle. It's tough going. He still pushes through the middle for a few yards. Down to the 1-yard line, a pickup of 2.
You know, to bring this thing a lot closer, they get this score right here, work some time off the clock. Good look at the inside zone right there. And the Curtis defense getting to the ball, but they get this score right here. That's big.
McCoy with that big frame just pushing forward. Not in yet, not in yet. He's not going to get it. He got down near the goal line. He's at the half-yard line, maybe closer. You think with that big frame, he'd just take the snap and reach the ball over.
Well,
and he might do that this time. Let's see.
Here's the deal. Have you ever seen him going under center for anything else but a snake?
True. Good point.
Why
good
is this?
Scouting, coach.
Why is that? Every time he's under, it's going to be a snake. Let's see if it's the same thing now.
And he's under center again. Let's see. Got that big frame now at 6'2", 6'3", push. He is there. Touchdown.
But here's my point, Ken.
You know it's coming.
You know it's coming, 1. But number 2, did you see how uncomfortable he was right there?
Yes.
He switched his feet around. If you don't practice that every day, and I guarantee a lot of spread teams that are in the gun do not practice taking quarterback center snaps under. But right there, it puts St. Aug back in this football game, and this is going to be a lot of momentum if they can, with 4 minutes, 8 seconds left, 3 and out Curtis on this next series.
Now they're going to go for 2 and try to make up for that missed extra point, which I believe was tipped just a little bit. So let's see if they can make it up on this. 21-12.
Looks like he's going to go from under center.
I don't think he tries to push in from this far back. I don't think he tries to sneak it.
Well, it's we'll find out. I mean, he just doesn't look comfortable under there. Oh, it's a toss. There you go.
Oh, LaFrance drops it, picks it up, but that cost him, and he won't get the 2-point conversion. So we've got a timeout on the field with 4 minutes and 8 seconds to play as we look at this touchdown going to break. John Curtis 21-12. The big quarterback sneak by Justice McCoy. What a game here at Tad Gormley. John Curtis, St. Aug. Curtis leading 21-12. A missed extra point kick, a missed or an unsuccessful 2-point conversion by Aug. And now they have to kick a short one to the Patriots. And it'll go out of bounds. I was JT. I'd take it at the 35, but let's see.
Well, he might take another shot, let him kick it again. It all depends on what your scout report says about your kicker of your opponent.
Yep, looked like they're kicking again.
Well, I can see why. I mean, they struggle kicking the ball off a little bit, so let's back them up 5, and maybe it's going to either, 1, give us a chance to break one, or number 2, just if they sky it again and it goes out of bounds, you might back them up, or you might catch the ball and have good field position. It's about what you know about the scouting report of your kicker.
A lot of football wisdom in that mind under that blue cap you saw in the head of JT Curtis.
There's a lot of football wisdom on that field on both sides of these sidelines.
You better believe it. 2
great staffs, man. These guys do a great job, not only just with the game, but dealing and coaching with kids every day.
Tyree Rhodes, a big offensive lineman, will kick it again, same spot, and this one's going to go out of bounds, and he may make them kick it again. And keep marching backward 5 yards at a time.
Why not? I would.
Good field position.
Back them up again.
Nothing's coming off the clock.
Well, that's what JT says. Back them up again.
Hey, Coach, 4-minute offense. You talk about it. There's 4:08 on the clock, and if the Patriots can go down and put another one on the board, field goal or touchdown, puts them in the driver's seat. Remember, Curtis won the toss, and they deferred, so they will get the ball to start the second half. So if they score here, they get good field position, go down and score here, and then come back and do something to open the second half. That just put the dagger in the heart of the Purple Knights, or at least really force their backs against the wall. So Rhodes getting a good workout with the leg, keeps this one in bounds and sends this one deep. Wow, Rhodes with a nice deep kick picked up by Ernest Jones. Jones coming back, and we'll get it up to the 30-yard line. Flag goes down at the 29-yard line. So let's sort this one out.
I'm over here smiling. He kicks 2 out of bounds on short sky kicks, and then he boots the ball down to the 10-yard line.
Sends Jones back up 5 yards to be able to.
I don't get it. I mean,
there's your big offensive lineman and kicker, Tyree Rhodes. I guess he just needs to warm up. He needs to practice a little.
My leg's tired now. I'm tired. I'm tired for him.
Curtis's last 2 offensive plays have been lost fumbles. I think JT reminded Mr. Guggenheim, the freshman quarterback, about that before he comes out on the field? I think he might have. Marquise Albert with the handoff. Patriots do not fumble that one. Catch Prep Recruiting Insider Wednesdays on WHNO, our series focusing on the world of high school recruiting. Rick Daly and Renee Nato take an in-depth look at the best prospects in our area, past and present. It's PRI each Wednesday at 6 here on WHNO TV. This week, St. James. And man, we had the pleasure of calling last night's St. James Lutcher game, and what a thriller that was in the battle for St. James Parish, won by the Lutcher Bulldogs. Was not a disappointing game at all. There's a fumble, and St. Aug's got it.
That was number 24. Ernst Jones fumbled that football. The handoff was clean on the Veer option. That was Veer Binback, and he gets popped at the line of scrimmage, and the ball comes out on the ground and gives St. Aug, with 3:18 left to go, great field position.
And for Curtis, that's now 3 fumbles in their last 4 plays.
I have to think
offensive plays.
Right, I have to think when they get in that locker room at halftime, I think that will be mentioned.
Wow.
Here's a good look at it right here. Veer Binback, hello, bang, ball pops out. He got stuck at the line of scrimmage. No blocking up front that time. They did not get movement on the defensive line, and he had nowhere to go.
On first down, St. Aug just pushing straight ahead from the 36-yard line. And they've got just a little over 3 minutes to play with in this half, so we're talking Curtis driving down the field to make something happen. Look at it from this side. St. Aug puts another touchdown on the board and maybe gets 2. They're within 1, and they go into the halftime locker room with all the momentum of this game. Justice McCoy with a great fake and keep and dive for the first down. Good move by McCoy.
Zone read, he disconnects the ball, takes it up, gets it into the secondary for a nice pickup of a first down. Well, they've got 2 timeouts left, 2:44. They do not have to be in a lot of hurry here. They can work the clock. They can try to score with nothing left on the clock for Curtis.
Pete Barberin with the handoff. No, go straight ahead. Curtis has done just a great job of closing it off, and Andre Seymour was the closer on that run.
Yes, he was a closer. There's no place to go right there. He closes down the hole, steps in there, and makes a nice stick on that running back Barberin for St. Aug.
Barberin's had some help from LaFrance and Landers, but he's been the workhorse behind McCoy. Now it's LaFrance with a good step to the outside. Garland LaFrance, look at that slippery move down to the 10-yard line on another first down.
LaFrance cuts it back. Everything's clogged play side on the zone read, and he just cuts it back against the grain. Everything gets walled off, and he bounces into the secondary of Curtis, and he gets the ball down to the John Curtis 10-yard line.
All right, they cannot make a first down, so it's first and goal at the 10. Nice run by the junior LaFrance, and look at McCoy hold that ball out, wait for him to accept the dive to the end zone, and he did not get in. Missed it by just a tad. But I like the way McCoy held that ball out like he was going to give it to LaFrance and then pulled it back in and took off down the left side.
Right, it was the read. He got the defensive end closing down on the dive look right there. There's his read. He rips it out, and he gets down to about the 2-yard line, steps out right there, the official right on, and I think you could have seen his left foot right there on the line, but he does extend the ball, just doesn't do it before he steps out of bounds.
At the 2-yard line, second and goal. McCoy. Good pitch, and no one there to even attempt to stop Barberin, who's got the touchdown. And what looked like it was going to be maybe a Curtis runaway, has, because of the turnover, has given St. Aug new life. They go down and score, and they are, well, let's see if they go for 1 or 2. And if they go for 2, they're a 2-point from conversion from being 1 behind the Patriots. But they have been unsuccessful on both of their point afters. They're going to go for 2. Barberin is your running back. McCoy looking at the defense. The fake, the toss, it's batted down.
It's batted down by Jay Curtis, gets his big paws up and knocks that thing down on the 2-point play. Going back to the touchdown again, I'm sure we're going to get a look at it. They run speed option. Curtis was out of position. Here's the replay, speed option. There's the pitch. No one there for Curtis on the pitch. Look at the block and out on the edge by Colby Williams. He can not only return kicks, punts, catch passes for touchdowns, but he does a great job blocking on the edge when he's called to do so. So right there, it was like stealing for St. Aug. All they had to do was pitch the ball, walk in the end zone. Nobody on the pitch for Curtis.
The lead for Curtis is extra points.
So let's see what happens on the kickoffs for St. Aug. These are always interesting. So we saw what happened last time. See how he's going to set up again, whether he's going to go deep or he's going to try to sky it to his right.
Well, he kicked enough after the last St. Aug touchdown to get the leg warmed up. He was in there on the offensive line. So the big man boots it again. That's Tyree Rhodes. Sends this one deep enough. Patriots looking for room on this return, and here's a flag flying in from the back judge at the 25-yard line. And we'll see what this is all about.
I think we're going to get a holding back at that particular spot by a Curtis player.
A minute 33 to play first half.
I'm going to have to say this. They can't put the ball on the ground here. In the past, In the past 3 series, what has Curtis done?
Fumble, fumble, fumble.
Fumble, fumble, fumble. They put the ball on the ground with 1:33 left to go. It could lead to another St. Aug touchdown.
Wait, forget about series. 3 fumbles in the last 4 plays from scrimmage.
Well, hello. So
5 of the 6 touchdowns in this game have come off turnovers. The
So-
freshman quarterback Guggenheim is in there.
right, they're going to have to
Colin
get their act together.
Guggenheim, here we go. Yeah, you're not kidding. Well, there's going to be some tongue lashing at halftime. Guggenheim with the deep drop to throw. He wants to go long. He's got a man, but underthrows the football. Underthrows the football. I mean, he had a man wide open,
Right.
and he just couldn't get the ball to him.
Well, I mean, you don't see a lot of vertical passes out of John Curtis, and JT doesn't like to call a lot of them, but he has to do it in order to try to get these people loosened up off the line of scrimmage.
And that's Tyrone Leggett. That's the 3rd time he's beaten his man.
Tyrone Leggett behind the secondary right there. They just can't get the ball to him. The John Curtis passing game is anemic. I mean, there's they can't get anything completed, and they're going to have to do some of that to loosen up their running game.
Guggenheim. Calling the play right and left. Looking for that seam over the right tackle, and it's not there. Not there at all for McKee Smith. Or is that Marquise? That's Marquise Albert.
You can see right here, it's the power play off the Curtis right tackle.
Smith tried to throw the block.
I got to think St. Aug just called timeout to try to conserve some of the time on the clock and force Curtis into a punting situation. I mean, that would be the smart thing to do, to call timeout right there and try to make sure that, it's going to bring up 3rd down. They might want to waste the timeout again after 3rd down if Curtis runs the ball to try to be able to force punt the ball.
Remember 2 years ago we were here and St. Aug had this big 4th quarter rally and came back with the win. That's McCoy to Stanley Morgan, who went on to Nebraska to play football, pulling St. Aug within 1, 13-12. They were behind, and St. Aug does what they've been doing all first half today. They fumbled. This time, though, not from scrimmage. They fumbled the kickoff. St. Aug gets it, and then they'll take a field goal and go ahead by 2, 15-13. One last chance for Curtis. Miles Washington on the toss and intercepted by Jared Smith. And that sealed the deal for the Purple Knights just 2 years ago. Always a great game, whether it's both teams making mistakes, both teams playing perfect.
Well, it's the Catholic League, Ken. There's a lot of drama, as I said in the opening.
And Leslie's talked about that, too, on his first report from the sideline on just how close it's been in this series. There's the toss, and Curtis with a nice gain around the left side by Ernest Jones.
St. Aug has just given up the pitch on defense. That's lead option. They're crack blocking the edge. They're blocking the support with the lead back. You can see the blocker out front blocking the support. Number 32, here comes the support. Great block. Let's pitch the ball and let's run for days. Nobody on the pitch.
20 yards worth of days on that. Now Guggenheim to throw again and won't get there. Looking for Marquise Albert. Guggenheim struggling with the passing game today.
Well, I think I said it was anemic. They just can't get the ball in the air to anybody. You know, the place they need to attack, and I know JT will talk about it when he gets into the locker room, is they got to attack those flanks with the pitching of the ball in their option game. There's nobody playing the pitch. I'm sure they've got to make sure they talk about that and attack the flanks.
Look, we got a new quarterback in there, and that is Donnell Jones coming in at the quarterback slot. He's in trouble, and the young man is hit, runs into his own man. That's an offensive lineman, Milan, and then goes down. So Donnell Jones Jr. comes in to take that snap.
I think St. Aug just took their last time out off of the sack right there.
Curtis has no completions in this game, but to their credit, they had no pass completions last week in the victory over Jesuit.
Well, I mean, you know, you're a veer offense. That's what you're known as. They don't develop the vertical passing game. Their passing game is built off of a couple of things. Play action passes, flat routes off a sprint out and protection, so that way their protections are a lot easier. So that way they can try to cross you up every now and then and throw the vertical pass off that type of protection. Play action or rollout. So you're not really going to have that wide open passing game that a lot of teams that are spread teams would have. They make their living like Novocaine. Pound the ball, pound the ball, pound the ball, pop it. And when they find a mistake, which I've talked about what the mistake is that St. Aug is doing, they're giving up the pitch. They're going to exploit it. And we've seen that exploited a couple times already here today.
St. Aug used their last time out. Curtis, of course, has all three. Curtis would just like this clock to run out, 49 seconds in the half. And I'm wondering if Donnell Jones, who might have the best arm between Guggenheim and Hebert, came in to throw what would have been that second down pass. Now you're looking at third down.
In other words, you're saying he's the designated passer.
Might be. He's in there now, and this is definitely a passing situation because, well, not really, because you can let as much clock run out as possible.
Well, the clock will start on the snap, okay?
Yep.
So what they're going to have to do is he's going to do something smart here and safe, punt the ball and play defense.
Jones will work under center. He is going to drop back. He's being pressured. He'll throw the screen. Incomplete. Dangerous throw. A lot of people there. A lot of white jerseys, but a few purple jerseys there also.
Trying to set up a screen, sprinting one way, throwing it back to the other side. A lot of purple jerseys mixed in with a lot of white jerseys
but
right there.
But it stopped the clock, Wade. It's
right.
You stopped the clock for St. Aug there.
Tell you what, they just missed a face mask right there if you saw that on our replay.
Yeah.
All right, a little swipe of the face mask right there.
So now you got 43 seconds, fourth down, 22 to go for the first. You've got to punt the ball away. Stell needs a good punt. And this is going to eat up some clock while it rolls. That's going to help the Patriots just inside the 30 at the 29-yard line. Clock stops with 32 seconds to play in the first half.
Curtis sprints their
46-yard punt.
Curtis sprints their punt team on late right there, as you noticed. But did you also see Colby Williams was absent just prior to the punt? He runs out on the field. Not there to catch the ball, not set up to catch the ball. We had a flag on the play also. I think we had a false start by the punt team from Curtis.
Interesting, because if you force them to punt over, let's see.
Well, it was an offsides is what they called, so it wasn't a false start. So they're going to take the ball back. They're going to make them punt the ball again, which is what I would do. And this time, let's get Colby Williams out on the field so he can catch that ball and do something electrifying.
See, but if one Stell can get a punt right here that can roll and eat up more time on the clock, I guess this is a 50-50 coin flip, because I'm not sure if I'd want the ball in the hands of Justice McCoy with as much time as possible to chunk it and try to get that ball in the hands of Colby Williams.
Well, the first thing let's do, let's kick it away from Colby Williams. All right, let's try not to put it in his hands. And it looks like John Curtis just took a timeout.
And that might exactly be what John or JT Curtis is going to tell these guys, right? Do not kick it straight away to Colby Williams. He's already got 2 KORs for TDs and a punt return for a touchdown against Brother Morton.
Well, I mean, let's go back to the first punt. And I brought this to our viewers' attention early in the game, the way Curtis likes to get their punt team on. They sprint them off, sprint them on, sprint their offense off. As you take a good look at JT, making sure all of his guys know what they're doing on their assignments. And kind of asleep right there was to Colby Williams or St. Aug, not getting him on as quickly as they possibly could. So this time,
kick it toward one of the sidelines, right? Kick it toward one of the sidelines.
This time there's no deception, and Colby Williams is back there to catch this ball. So let's make sure, if I'm John Curtis, I punt it away from number 7.
Matter of fact, we should never just say to Colby Williams on a punt or kickoff return. We should always preclude that with saying the very dangerous, slippery and fast to Colby Williams. The lefty punts it. It's high. No fair catch. Yeah, he did call for the fair catch. I did not see the hand go up, but he called for it. 26 seconds for Justice McCoy and to Colby Williams and the Purple Knights to try to go about half the field. As a 34-yard punt. They'll place it at the 46-yard line of the Purple Knights. He gained 17 yards on the exchange. We're hoping for more of a rugby type punt, I think.
Well,
but Onestell is not that kind of punter.
Right. Well, you got to remember, in high school, you got what you got.
That's it.
You can't recruit them.
McCoy, lots of time. He's gone long down the right sideline, and it was intended for Colby Williams, but well covered down there by Tyler Blanco and Brandon Davis.
Brandon Davis running step for step right there with Colby Williams. You can see it right there. Very nice position. I'd like to see his body leaned in a little bit more into that purple jersey, but he's step for step with him. He's making sure he's staying on top and in touch with the vertical receiver.
Colby Williams is at the top of your screen again. Let's see if they go back to him. 3 wide outs to the left side. They're going to go right up the middle with one. And that's Barberin on the run for some yardage. And St. Aug has no timeouts, so they've got to get to the line quickly because, well, he did make the first down. I thought they spotted it just a little bit behind. So the clock will stop for just a minute. 10 seconds to play in the half. Now the chains are set. There's the snap. Justice McCoy looking again. He's got time. Now the pressure from behind flushes him out, and he goes down. Jay Curtis with the sack. The son of Johnny Curtis and the oldest grandson of JT stops, and with that sack keeps St. Aug out of the end zone. We'll be back with our halftime show at halftime. John Curtis leads St. Aug by 3 extra points, 21-18. Back at halftime, Tad Gormley Stadium, City Park, 21-18. John Curtis with the lead over St. Aug. Let's go downstairs to Les East with a special guest.
Thanks, Ken. I'm here with a couple of special guests from the Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute, and I'm here with a couple of doctors. First off, to my left here is Dr. Misty Suri, and over here is Dr. Derek Jones. Dr. Suri, let me ask you first. Tell us about your involvement with the Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute and also the involvement with these two schools specifically.
Well, I've been involved with Ochsner now been in practice for almost 10 years, and it goes by quick. But we've got a sort of a comprehensive sports medicine program for athletes of all ages, including high school and younger kids, as well as college and professional level. And it's really been fun to see these kids kind of grow and become, high school players and then college players, and then sometimes some of them go on even and become professionals. And it's really been a fascinating and learning experience for all of us. But it's a privilege to treat all these kids. It's a privilege to be involved with John Curtis for the last 3 years now, and we truly feel honored to be a part of it.
Now, Dr. Jones, what do parents and coaches need to know about preventing sports injuries, and how can Ochsner help with that?
Well, that's a great question. That's really what we try to do. We want to prevent injuries. Don't want to have to do anything to these kids if we can help it, and have them out there doing what they want to in life. Most important thing is probably what's called core strengthening, which is the mid part of your body, working on your abdominal area, that six-pack people talk about, hip flexors, and getting those most strong in the middle of the body. That prevents both upper and lower body injuries. We found that in numerous studies. Dr. Suri and myself have been involved in lots of research concerning these type of injuries, and we found that if you strengthen the core, you really prevent those injuries before they even start. So that's the most important thing.
And Dr. Suri, what are the type of injuries you see from youth athletes coming through your clinic most frequently?
Well, over time it's really evolved from back when, 12, 13 years ago when Dr. Jones started a program here. We've seen more and more overuse injuries, and so that's a very common thing where single sport specialization, as time has gone on and more athletes are specializing at a younger age, we see a lot of overuse injuries in the knee and the shoulder and the elbow, especially in throwing athletes. So as Dr. Jones mentioned, the core strengthening is really important to do. We want to keep that area strong so it doesn't overload the extremity. To keep the power and force coming from the center of the body, not the outside of the body. But we see all kinds of injuries such as shoulder instabilities, ACL tears, unfortunately, and ankle sprains are very common. Those are probably the three most common things.
And Dr. Jones, where is your clinic located, and how can parents get in touch with you for an appointment?
Great, thanks for asking that. We're located over on Clearview Avenue, right across from Best Buy. It's the Elmwood facility over there. It's the Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute. You can see Dr. Suri, myself, and Dr. Montgomery, and all our specialists over there any day of the week. We're actually open on Saturdays as well with the Saturday morning clinic. And you basically can get there anytime you want by going on the web, or you can call us at 504-736-4800. See any one of us anytime. We have same-day appointments all the time. Numerous specialists to be available for you, too.
Great. Thank you, and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you
Back to you, Ken.
Thank you very much, Les. I want to thank our guest from Ochsner for being with us at halftime. Wade, your thoughts on this first half that saw 8 turnovers, 4 on each side.
Right. Well, I think you said the word turnover. 8 turnovers, 4 for Curtis, 4 for St. Aug. We had all of John Curtis' points came after turnovers. One of St. Aug's touchdowns came after a turnover. Some of that stuff's going to have to get cleaned up at halftime, and I'm sure these fine coaching staffs are going to talk about that to their kids.
Now let's look at the highlights of this one, and there were a lot coming off of those turnovers in this game. 5 touchdowns, 3 by the defense, and how about this tip drill touchdown? Addison tipped it, and then Teron Cherry goes in for the score. Off of another turnover, here's the freshman Chauncey Crum with 6, and Curtis rolling. Here's a throw by the senior Hebert. He is picked off by Rodney Coleman, who will return this 22 yards for a score.
I'll tell you what, that was a big one, and then you have right here the
Ryan Gilmore.
Yeah, right. I don't want to call it a pick because it's a fumble return, because it's a lateral by Ryan Gilmore. Kind of pause for a second because as you're looking at
officially
it, you can't
it's
see.
a fumble return.
Right.
Yeah,
as you see it, it's not a. It doesn't look like a pass. It's a lateral, and then St. Aug quarterback Justice McCoy pitches the ball for a big touchdown.
Yeah,
right there.
Barberin goes in for the score. No one there to get him, and we're 21-18 because St. Aug has yet to convert an extra point. They missed a kick. They missed two-point conversion tries. Curtis made all 3 of their kicks. They lead 21-18. Here's a look at our stats. Anything stand out to you besides the turnovers, of course?
Well, I mean, the turnovers are the first thing that we talked about that jump out at you. But look at
passing yards.
Right. Look at the passing yardage, but look at the rushing yardage by John Curtis. Only 77 yards compared to 166 by St. Aug. I mean, that's big because John Curtis lives and dies by the rushing numbers that they put up.
3 defensive touchdowns and 1 offensive touchdown on a very short field. They've been getting some help.
Correct, but I mean, the problem's the turnovers. I mean, they've had problems on their mesh and things like that when they're running games, so I'm sure that thing's got to get cleaned up at halftime.
And as we go to break, take a good look at the St. Aug marching 100. We'll be back with the second half kickoff right after this. Saturday afternoon for football at Tad Gormley Stadium in City Park, New Orleans. Ken Berthelot along with Wade Kaiser, Les East down on the field. Tommy Cooper with us in the booth. Our great WHNO crew who has brought you some fabulous pictures here. Al Jones trying to get to 4-0 in the conference, and despite the turnovers by both teams, his team is right there. Some extra points, 3 extra points away from being a tie ball game. Missed the first kick and was unsuccessful on both 2-point conversions after that. Wade Kaiser.
Well,
what kind of a tongue lashing went
right.
out of the locker room by both coaches?
Well, there had to be some sort of tongue lashing, and then what you got to do is tell them, okay, fine. We clean up the mistakes, especially putting the ball on the ground, and let's get back to what we do best. You know, for St. Aug, it's tempo offense. For John Curtis, it's running inside and outside veer and making sure all the things that we do fundamentally are sound. You know, that's what they told their kids. You know, they had to get on them a little bit because, you know, it's the turnover issue. And so then you come back and you calm them down and tell them, here's what we've got to do. Here are our adjustments, and, you know, let's go out and play a better second half.
Curtis had won the opening toss, deferred, so they will get the football to start the second half, trying to protect that 3-point lead. Still anybody's ball game. Talking to some of the St. Aug coaches as they were coming back up to the booth, and they were saying this is their first afternoon game, and just not responding to the afternoon well. And I said, well,
it is a big change.
Yeah,
and I'm going to say that.
But both teams have struggled with this one this afternoon.
Having done this, you know, from playing at the 7 o'clock kickoff and coming to a 2:30 kickoff, it is an adjustment. It's huge.
Tyree Rhodes will go short, and it's caught before going out of bounds. That's Glenn Beal on the kick. Let's welcome in Les East, who talked with both coaches as they came out the locker room.
Yeah, guys, both coaches talked about what y'all have been talking about, and that is all the mistakes in the first half. JT Curtis said that may have been the most mistake-filled half he has seen in all of his years of coaching. He didn't know why that was the case, but he vowed to get it fixed at halftime. I asked him about his quarterback situation. He played 3 in the first half. He said, I don't know who it's going to be, but we're going to find somebody who can run our offense the way it's supposed to be run. St. Aug coach Al Jones kept it very simple. We got to eliminate our mistakes and take advantage of theirs. Ken?
Jones will carry on first down and not get much, and JT Curtis has been coaching for 48 years, so if that's the most mistake-filled first half or half of football he's ever seen, that's a mouthful coming from the coach.
Well, I get it. He's starting the freshman for the second half, so I think he pretty much made up in his mind what he's got to do. That's the first counter we've seen out of the Curtis offense today on their very first play from scrimmage for the second half.
Jones behind Guggenheim with another back also there. The pitch, Marquise Alberts had to reach behind him to get it. It doesn't slow him down much as he turns and finds 6 yards for the Curtis Patriots on that second down play.
You know, this is lead option. They're leading a running back out to block the support coming off the edge right there. If the pitch would have been a lot better, they'd have picked up a lot more yards. As it was, even with a bad pitch, they pick up about 5 yards right there. The pitch is there all day long if Curtis wants to exploit it.
Now, this could be a passing situation, but since neither team has done well, as a matter of fact, there's been one more completion to the opponents than both of these teams together have with their teammates. Curtis doesn't have a completion except on the interception. There's a big run right up the middle. This is the freshman quarterback, Colin Guggenheim. He'll take it the distance and go all the way for the touchdown.
That's what JT likes about this freshman. When he gets out into the open, he can run away from you. He's an exciting athlete from that standpoint. He's just going to have to settle down and do a better job on his mesh reads.
56 yards for a score by the freshman quarterback, Colin Guggenheim. And how's that for an explosive play to open the second half here? Curtis out to a 27-18 lead over the Purple Knights with the point after coming up. Josh Hartley awaits the swinging gate to swing back into position. The holder is Blaine Hebert, the senior quarterback. Good look by our end zone camera. It is up and good. 3-play, 62-yard drive, 135. 56-yard touchdown run by the quarterback.
I tell you what, it was off the lead option again. He kept the ball, and there he goes.
Back here at Tad Gormley Stadium, Curtis scores on that first offensive possession of the second half with the big explosive play by Guggenheim, the freshman quarterback, and then a deep kick is fumbled into the end zone, so it's coming back out. Dead ball. And the St. Aug Purple Knights, as you can see the frustration on the face of Colby Williams. He'd like to be able to return one of those.
Well, would you? I mean, if I've got those skills, I would too.
Yeah, he just hasn't been able to explode yet.
Right. Well, and you know, he's doing. Let's talk about the big things. He's had a couple nice pass catches, but he had a great block on a touchdown that St. Aug scored in the second quarter. So he's a full-rounded athlete out there, catching punts, kickoffs, as well as passes for touchdowns, and he blocks.
Oh, he blocks very well. Justice McCoy at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Putting that ball in the hands of Pete Barber, and he dropped it. I think he was down first anyway. But McCoy wouldn't take his hand off the football, and Barber had trouble with that.
Well, that's read sweep. All right, he's reading the last guy in the line of scrimmage, but he kind of delayed his read. He needed to rip the ball, and then Barber gets tripped up. There's your read sweep right there. Should have been disconnected right there and kept by Justice McCoy. But he decides to give the ball. He could have possibly stepped on Justice McCoy's foot. Somehow he trips up and he puts the ball on the ground. They were lucky right there.
Loss of 1, 2nd down, 11. McCoy with Barberin behind him. He'll just screen it out to Barberin, who's got a little bit of running room. Hit hard, denied the first down.
They set the screen up very nice out to Barber, and they dump it out there. They pick up a nice little group of yardage there.
Andre Seymour with a big hit.
Andre Seymour comes over, and then also there is number 2, Tyler Blanco. But I tell you what, it's set up very nice, the screen.
3rd down, 2 to keep this drive alive. Move the chains. McCoy fakes to LaFrance, keeps himself with the extra effort. Look at that. McCoy breaks loose. McCoy's got the first down and a lot more all the way down to the 30-yard line, and maybe they'll mark it at the 29. How about that run by Justin McCoy, who looked to be bottled up, and he busted through for 42 yards.
Well, here's your read. There's the pull. Tell you what, watch him try to run over the secondary man right here. Watch this. I'm going to match him. Boom. I like that. He's not running out of bounds. I'm running at you. What a competitor.
Yeah, he got the spot at the 29-yard line. 1st and 10. St. Aug Purple Knights needed that to keep that drive alive, and they got it. McCoy on a keeper around the short side. Not enough room to make the corner turn, and he's run out of bounds by Pony Tuuta.
Same play again off of the read sweep. He disconnects it, and he goes around the right end. You know, a lot of their offense is built off of all of these reads by the last man on the line of scrimmage. I think we had a penalty right there, too, that's going to be bringing that play back. Looks like it's a holding penalty. It's going to come back 10 yards from the spot of the penalty.
Let's go downstairs to Les East, who has a special guest sideline. Les, take it away.
Thanks, Ken. I'm here with Marcus DeLarge, the athletic director at St. Augustine High School. Marcus, a lot of excitement with the Purple Knights. You've won your first 3 district games, going for 4-0 here today against John Curtis. What's the atmosphere been like around school about this football team?
It's been electric these last few weeks with the team. Starting off slow, but really getting things going these last 3 weeks. 3-0 in district, playing against a tough John Curtis team. But we are excited. You can see the enthusiasm and the passion with the kids and the teachers around campus. And it really just translates to what we have going on next week with homecoming. And we kick that off Monday, October 17th. With open house from 5 to 7, which is an opportunity for prospective parents and students to come and see everything that St. Augustine High School has to offer.
Now, this is a time of year when most schools are having open house and these types of events. How does athletic success and athletic programs raise your visibility in the community?
Well, football and the band are two of our most important activities that we have. They draw the most interest, and when those things are doing well, obviously the community gets behind us. Prospective parents and students, they take notice of that, and we're hoping that they all come to join us on October 17th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the school.
Okay, thank you, Marcus. Back to you, Ken.
Yes. All right, McCoy ran on first down. Got a few yards out of it on second. His helmet came off, so he had to come out for a play. Barber, who was also the backup quarterback, just lined up in the Wildcat. Got some good positive yardage on second down. Leaves the Purple Knights with now a 3rd down and 4 at the 23-yard line. Kind of in no man's land. This is 4-down territory for them. Got a little movement up on the right side by Keith Settle. Flag dropped.
False start.
That's
Offense.
that's a
Number
big
8.
penalty. That's going to back them up to 3rd and 9.
3rd down.
Yeah, 3rd and 4 to 3rd and 9. And again, you don't really have a field goal kicker. So it's 4-down territory. You don't want to punt the exchange if it would go into the end zone. You don't want to be giving up a few yards. So this is 4-down territory to get 9 yards. Justice McCoy. 3 wideouts to the top of your screen. Here comes the rush. He'll screen it out. Won't get far here. That's way short of the first down at the 25-yard line. And Teron Cherry again on the stop.
Teron Cherry does a great job diagnosing the screen. You'll see it right here. There's the dump screen. Look at Teron Cherry running out there. He's a thumper. Gets out there and just thumps up that screen real hard.
Close
Big
down
play.
Garland LaFrance. Nowhere to go. So here's your 4th down play. They need 6. 4th down, 6. Settles. He's a tight end, but it's also, he can run like a wide receiver. Haven't used him tonight, have not thrown to him tonight. And he's going for Tacovi Williams in the end zone, bobbled and dropped it. Oh, and then he slides on the track part of that. That's going to hurt a little bit. And Williams is going to be slow to get up as he ran off the field to play, diving for the ball, and came down sliding on that hard track. That's hurting. You can see it in his face. Wow.
It's on his knee, shin area. Look at the replay right here. Right in his hands. 1, 2, just bobbled out of bounds, and it looked like his knee gave way right there on the turf, and he slides onto the track. Possibly got stepped on right there. Tell you what, it was a great pass, though. It was right in his hands. I know he would love to have that back again.
As they work on Tacovi Williams, we will take a break and be back in just a little while. 6 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. John Curtis with a 10-point lead over the Purple Knights. So Curtis takes over on downs and will run the first play from scrimmage by handing it off to Ernest Jones. And Jones trying to find something on the left side, doesn't get much.
Counter crisscross, back coming one way, Jones coming back the other against the flow. Second time they've run counter today. They're going to have to mix a little counter in there to try to keep that fast flowing Purple Knight defense flowing to the ball.
Oh, wow, the freshman quarterback started things on the first drive. This is your senior quarterback, Blaine Hebert, directing this drive. Second down, 6 for the Patriots. There's the toss to Marquise Albert around the left side. Interesting. Curtis had 77 yards in total offense in the first half, and on the first drive, because of that big, gigantic, explosive play by Guggenheim, which went 56 yards, they had 62 yards on the first drive, almost as much offense because of the explosive play as they had in the first half altogether. Now, if they want to keep it going, they're going to have to find a way to move the chains on third down here. A couple of injured players. Colby Williams is finally making his way, as you look at him there, back to the bench area. You could see him writhing in pain. And also hurt right now is Juan Monjares. It's a defensive end for the Purple Knights. He's down in front of the Curtis bench, slowly getting up here. For the latest news on high school, college, and pro sports in Louisiana, visit sportsnola.com. In addition to unique opinions from our team of area writers, check out Louisiana's best prep football scoreboard, sponsored by the All-State Sugar Bowl, and our first NBC Bank video updates. It's all at sportsnola.com. Now, Wade Kaiser, I'll bet you don't know who's on the first NBC Bank video updates with Ken Trahan.
You got me, buddy. I have no clue.
Lenny Van Gilder.
Oh, I'll tell you what. That man can do everything, can't he?
He's everywhere. He can do everything. And he always has a particular nugget that you just didn't know is going to come from Lenny Van Gilder on the first NBC Bank video update.
Good look right there to Colby Williams sitting up on the bench. Hopefully he's okay. And also they're bringing over number 18, which we saw just get hurt on that play. Hopefully he'll be fine too.
Ernest Jones left side, and when the Patriots needed to move the chains, Jones got the yardage to do so. Nice gain all the way up to the 44-yard line, and he goes limping off now. Jones goes limping off.
He has a brace on that right knee. It looks like it might be bothering him a little bit. Right there you can see the outside cut. Boom. Kind of right there. He kind of locks his knee down a little bit, possibly twisted a little bit, and could have re-injured it.
13-yard gain. Anything the Patriots you see right offhand doing different to generate some offense in this second half?
They're running a little bit more counter, and they're attacking the flank a lot harder, which we talked about in our halftime show is where they're going to have to attack.
They have not sprung Marquise Albert yet. Keeper by Blaine Hebert. And he'll go into the line for a few.
That's lead option. We've seen a lot more of that. Once again, they're bringing a back out to block the flank. The quarterback has the option to keep the ball or pitch it. It's a double option because it's only one read. So right there, he decides to keep the ball. That's the same play that earlier John Curtis scored on the long quarterback run by Guggenheim.
The Curtis offense is also an excellent offense for long, sustained drives. If you've got a lead to protect, as the Patriots do, eat some clock, protect the lead, and keep that drive going. Handoff, Chauncey Crum, the freshman running back. And we've got a fumble takeaway of the football, and the St. Aug Purple Knights have forced a turnover, and they have gotten the ball back. Dante Carter.
Crum fighting for extra yards, gets the ball popped out right into St. Aug defensive lineman right there.
Look at the big man. He's
big number 99. Dante Carter, 6 foot, 300 pounds.
300 pounds of him.
Fighting for a little extra yard.
Strips that ball. Look at him reach it, takes it away. Dante Carter with the big strip. Oh, defensive lineman, love that.
Look at him. I think he's taking that ball home like he thinks he's in the NFL.
Yeah, nobody's getting that ball.
Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Look at, oh, he gave it up. I thought he was taking that home, put it on his shelf. Big play, big play.
Boy, St. Aug trailing by 10 needed something like that, and they got it. Little mix-up in the backfield, collision between Barberin and Justice McCoy, and it cost them no gain.
Mesh wasn't clean right there on the zone read. Didn't know whether he wanted to pull it. Yeah, didn't know whether he wanted to pull it. Didn't know whether he wanted to give it. When in doubt, it's always a give. When in doubt, it's always a give. Come back, play again.
When St. Aug forces a turnover, not only do they get the momentum, they get the crowd riled up, and if the crowd's not riled up, the marching 100 will get them riled up, and they are right now. Straight ahead into the line, but the Patriots defense says no go, Garland LaFrance. Maybe a short gain of 1, and then the big pushback. and that was led by Jonathan Carrillo.
Jonathan Carrillo just shuts it down right there, gets off a block and makes a nice play. He's 5'11", 245-pound senior.
Now third down. So if the Purple Knights are going to make something out of this big strip by Dante, they've got to do it right here. Need 9 yards to move the chains. Justice McCoy. The snap. Looking for room on the short side. The right side won't get it. Will not move the chains. He fumbles the football. Was he down? Curtis says no, they've got it. But no indicator by the officials yet. I think he was down when he lost possession of that football. So it's fourth down. I'd say this is a must go for. Four down territory.
On the speed option, let's see if he's down right here in slow motion. Ball's out.
No. Yeah, that ball's out. That's a fumble.
That ball was out.
That's fumble, and Tyler Blanco got it. But again, no replay. So they're going to get a shot at it. Here's your fourth down play. 4th and 8. Oh, look at Justice McCoy reverses field. He's got the first down. He's moved the chains. He's got more. He's hard to bring down. He's near the 10-yard line before coming down. Justice McCoy to the 12-yard line. McCoy, what a run.
He sprints out to his left, nothing there, looks downfield, and then reverses his field and takes off, and all the pursuit had over-pursued him, and he's lucky he didn't get into the end zone right there, that Curtis pulled him down from the Curtis standpoint. Look at him right here. Tuck the ball away, please.
25 yards on this.
Gets away from a tackle right there. Curtis has to redirect their flow, get back over the top to make a play.
And looking at that replay, this could have been Curtis's ball, but you don't have replay in high school, so what a break for the St. Aug Purple Knights. Fake to Garland LaFrance, and Justice McCoy gets hit real hard. Let's go down to Les East for a report. Les, take it away.
Yeah, Ken, when St. Aug got that turnover moments ago, Tacovi Williams immediately put his helmet back on. The doctors said, hold on a second, not so fast. They put a wrap just below his right knee, and he is back on the field now. As far as Juan Manjarres, who got hurt earlier, it's his left ankle. It's being wrapped now. He's not expected to return, but Tacovi's back on the field. Back to you, Ken.
Let's see if they go to him right here. McCoy looking his way. McCoy instead goes over the middle, and it is caught. It's a touchdown. Justice McCoy with a touchdown to Keith Settle. They hadn't used him all game. The first throw to Settle results in 6.
Keith Settle runs a post route, and I tell you what, it's a very nice thrown ball by Justice McCoy. Hits Settle right in the hands, and like I said, you're going to see him do a lot of things today, but what he's done so far for the St. Aug offense is making sure that he was blocking downfield, doing those sort of things, and he comes up big on the slant route right there.
What a turn of events. And as Les told you, Tacovi, he wanted to go back into the game, and he was the decoy that time. Everyone thought that McCoy would look for Tacovi, but Settles, who has been quiet, so quiet and unused in this game, they go to him there. Here's your 2-point try. Settles again. Wow. Same receiver, 2 points good, and they made up some of it. You got a 4-point game now as John Curtis leads at 28-26, a 2-point game.
And look at the slant route right here. The ball is put right on the numbers. Touchdown, Purple Knights.
Six play, 41-yard drive. Took 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Justice McCoy on that drive rushed for 29 yards. Had a pass completion for 12 yards. And, of course, the touchdown and the 2-point conversion was a pass play. So finally some pass completions to members of somebody's own team, not to a member of the opponent's team. after the St. Aug kickoff, John Curtis has to play carefully on offense. They have had 5 turnovers, 4 fumbles, and 1 interception. And some of those turnovers from the first half have just carried over to the second half here.
Well, they've got to stop the turnover game. I mean, they've got a 2-point lead, and look how many times they've turned the ball over. This has got to be pulling JT's hair out.
8 touchdowns, 6 have come off turnovers. Guggenheim, the freshman, back at quarterback. He'll hand it off. Nothing doing against that big line by the Purple Knights.
They ran the inside ISO right there. They gave it to Ernst Jones, pounding up inside with the lead blocker. Nowhere to go. Purple Knights all over that to shut that down.
Well, you down to 1 minute in the third quarter, and we got a 2-point game. So once again, like all John Curtis St. Aug football games, or at least the ones for the last 3 or 4 years that we've done, another close game coming to the fourth quarter, coming out of the fourth quarter.
Drama of the Catholic League, Ken.
Gotta love it, unless you're a coach, because you'll lose your hair.
I did.
Yes, you did. I can only give you the straight line. Curtis. Again with another run, close, but they do not have the first down. They will be just a little bit short.
Guggenheim keeps the ball off the option, off of his short side of the field into the Curtis bench, and picks up valuable running room right there and brings up a 3rd and short.
That's been very quiet. Marquise Albert, very quiet since midway through the first half. We have not seen him really bust anything or get a lot of carries.
Well, I said in the pregame, and I'll keep saying it's like Novocaine. I mean, he's going to get his little bit, get a little bit, then he's going to bust one. And you know, this game isn't over. It's going into the fourth quarter. Marquise Albert could come up with a big play at any time.
Now the third quarter clock runs down. We have played 3. 12 minutes to play. John Curtis with a 2-point lead over St. Aug. One quarter to play on a beautiful Saturday afternoon at Tad Gormley Stadium in City Park, New Orleans. Ken Berthelot, Wade Kaiser, Les East down on the field. Tommy Cooper and Leah Kaiser in the booth with us and our fantastic WHNO TV crew, because you have seen some fabulous pictures. You have seen every turnover up close. You've seen some good touchdowns in this game, too, off those turnovers. So here go the Patriots. Can they protect this 2-point, 28-26 lead? And they'll go up the middle with Ernest Jones on the first play of the fourth quarter.
That was inside veer that time. It was a give read, gives the ball to Ernest Jones, and he hits it, and that should have brought up.
Third down coming up.
Yeah, it's third down coming up. There we go, 3rd and short. There it is.
Third down, looks like a little bit more than 2.
All right. Yeah, I thought they got the first
down.
down.
Well, I did too, but
they're messing with the chains.
All right, now they're finally moving the chains.
That's why I paused right there. I thought he got the first down. I'm saying, boy, they're messing with us with the chains up here.
They haven't learned it until they move the chains and actually flip that downs marker. Guggenheim with the fake pitch and the handoff. And Ernest Jones comes around the left side, but a flag is thrown. Laundry on the turf at the 32-yard line.
I think they're going to get a hold
offense, number 15.
There it is, holding penalty, as I was going to say. They got number 15
tight end
on the
Glenn Beal.
Glenn Beal on the hold, and they'll back it up 10 yards from the spot of the penalty. Let's see if we can see it on the left side of our screen right there. Oh, yeah, hello. They're dancing together. And
That's
then
a
there's
takedown.
Yeah, that's a 2-point takedown in wrestling.
WWE, you got a great crowd reaction for that. Goodness gracious.
Tell you what, Glenn Beal
Glenn knows it.
right? Yeah, right. I heard you. Glenn Beal is going to be a big-time recruit. He's only a junior, and I tell you what, the college recruiters love the size of Glenn Beal.
6'5".
Right, 6'5". He's lean. He's your prototype tight end that they look for him to be able to run vertical seams as well as be a strong blocker.
Which other John Curtis, big, tall receiver, wore that number 15, playing now with the LSU Tigers in Baton Rouge, folks? Can you guess it? Malachi Dupree. Toss back. We've been waiting for Marquise Albert to get a chance. He's got one, turns the corner, and sure enough, he makes it happen. Look at the cut inside by Albert. Now the cut across the field. It's a foot race. Can Albert turn on the last bit of speed? He does. Marquise Albert, 73 yards for a touchdown.
As I said, Ken, Curtis was going to come out and exploit the flanks a little bit more in the second half. And there's a good look at it right there. I don't see
There's
any
also a flag
flags.
down. I see
a
one.
penalty.
It's a penalty flag down at the 27-yard line.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Way over on the John Curtis sideline.
I think they're going to bring this one all the way back. It's going to have something to do with the blocking on the flank, whether it's a block in the back, a hold, a clip.
Look at JT beside himself.
They cracked, they curled out of the backfield and pitched the lead option out. And Marquise Albert took off like a bullet out of a gun. But it's coming back.
Wow. Two big explosive plays by John Curtis called back in this game. One in the first half, one here on penalties.
And it's a hold. Let's see if we can see it right here. That might be it right there. They've got their hands all over each other. I don't know. It's a dance, but it's a call by the official right there as the coaches from John Curtis are ripping their headsets off and screaming at the official. I never did that.
Yeah, officially 73 yards. He ran 120 probably to get it with the cuts and the crossfield moves. And what a wipeout. He's lost a 70 and a 73-yarder in this game by way of penalty. 1st and 30. Inside screen. It's complete. Curtis completed a pass. There you go to Kyle Pierce.
Do you remember the route that was picked off earlier in the game by St. Aug? That's the same route. This time he hits the slant route and he puts it on the numbers. Same exact route earlier in the game.
First completion in this game, but I got one better for you. First completion in 2 weeks.
Okay.
That wasn't to another colored jersey.
That's awesome. I mean, and look, to their benefit is that's not their MO. You know,
Correct.
Their MO
Correct.
is to ground the thing out on the veer, the powers, and that sort of thing. That's not their MO.
Oh, they didn't have a pass completion last week against Jesuit and still won the game. So, yeah, you're right. That's not their MO. This is a little pass to the outside, tried to set up the screen, and, of course, it goes nowhere. They stuffed Tyrone Leggett.
They try to throw the bubble screen out there, right there to the number 2 receiver that's out there lined up in a twins formation. No place for him to go. The pass was low, and he had to go down. It took him out of his rhythm to pick the ball off up the turf. Look, when Curtis gets behind in the chains like they are now, they were 1st and 15 or 20, 2nd and 14 or 12, something like that. Now they're 3rd and a decade. This isn't their game. They can't operate behind the sticks like this. They can't do it.
And remember, this should have been a 70-yard touchdown. A 73-yard touchdown. A 70-yard touchdown was called back for Marquise Albert in the first half. So they've lost 143 yards of offense on 2 runs by Marquise Albert because of penalties that were called back and still lead by 2, 28-26. It's called 2 extra points. That's the lead right now for the Patriots.
Well,
not much on 3rd.
They're going to have to flip the field position. Okay, they're in a bind right now with this issue, so they're going to come out. They're going to punt this right here. Here comes their punt team sprinting on the field like they do, and they're going to have to get a good punt out of this to try to flip from some field position. Jacoby Williams is not back catching the punt. It is Garland LaFrance.
Onestell is the punter. He's gotten off a few good ones in this game. No rush at all. LaFrance watches it bounce. It'll take a St. Aug roll, and Curtis quickly downs it so that it doesn't get too much of that yardage back. We'll take a break. 8.5 minutes exactly to play in this game. John Curtis with a 2-point lead after the 32-yard punt by one step. Pressure now on the John Curtis defense. St. Aug has opened it up a little bit and found some rhythm. Justice McCoy looking to the right, nothing there, and he's flushed out of the pocket and then hit from behind, and he goes down by Jay Curtis.
Jay Curtis comes and flushes him. What they're trying to do is they were trying to set up the screen.
I take that back. That was Pony Tuuta.
Oh, good. I was going to let you say that. I was going to say Jay Curtis. Look, but here's the deal. They were trying to throw the quick screen again. They pumped the screen, and they were trying to go vertical to the guy, one of the guys that stalked and went vertical. He was covered very well by the Curtis defense. But look, here's
Watch
our
the hit on McCoy because he was slow to get up.
Here's our hit right there.
Tuuta.
Thank you. And
that was Jay Curtis standing right over to Watu as he made the hit.
Well, that's the reason why I wanted to say Jay Curtis. I couldn't say to Watu.
A lot of twos. Second down, 16. They got to run with Garland LaFrance. Boy, is he hit hard by Tyler Blanco. Stood up and then finally brought down. Got some of the penalty or the lost yardage back, not penalty yardage. Lost yardage back.
Well, I tell you what, Tyler Blanco right there sets the edge for Curtis. He comes from his corner position, comes up and really contains the play and makes a nice hit on Garland LaFrance. That's the way you play corner. You got to set the edge. You got to be able to cover verticals and then on runs be able to come up and set edges and turn things into your defense. Great job.
We talked about Curtis being behind the chains. Now the Purple Knights are behind the chains. Not as bad as Curtis was. Third down, 12. McCoy, lots of time, and he throws the ball behind LaFrance, incomplete.
But you see, St. Aug can be behind the chains because of the ability of their quarterback, okay? He can run the ball, he can skate out of there real quick on a scramble, and he can throw the ball vertical. So it's not as big of his MO for them offensively. They don't have to panic. Curtis panics when they're behind the chains.
6 minutes, 53 seconds to play in the game. Fourth down, 12. Too early for a fake punt. Now, remember, your quarterback is your punter. Justice McCoy. He's going to punt it. And Curtis is not sending anybody deep, respecting McCoy, the quarterback, as the punter. So St. Aug lets it roll, and it'll be down at the 16-yard line. We'll take a break. When we come back, John Curtis has the ball and a 2-point lead at Tad Gormley on a beautiful afternoon for football. 43-yard punt. Six-minute offense, it's what's needed right now by the John Curtis Patriots. Can they use that veer to grind out this final 6:40?
Well, their offense is tailor-made for it. They're just going to have to hold on to the ball, and they can't have penalties.
Marquise Albert on first down. Not much at operating this drive is the senior quarterback, Blaine Hebert.
Well, I mean, you know, you say 6-minute offense, 4-minute offense. There's one key to this.
Move the chains.
Right, move the chains. Pick up first downs. Don't get holding penalties. Don't get off schedule. And don't fumble the football.
So what was first and 10 now becomes second down 10 after no gain.
This is not where they want to be. They don't like second and 10s.
Only thing worse would be third and 10. There's the pitch. It's high, but Albert pulls it down. He's in trouble in the backfield and stumbles back to the 20-yard line, brought down on a good ankle tackle.
Tell you what, that's the first time you've seen St. Aug do a good job on the pitch right there. They get out there, they fight off the blocks on the lead option, and they make a play on the pitch man right there. One of the first ones on the afternoon. Here's a good look at it. The pitch is still high and behind him. You know, you got to feel the pitch.
Carty Johnson, I think, is the guy who made the stop. with a lot of purple jerseys around him, and Carty got down low and got him by the ankles. And guess what? All of a sudden now it's third down, and you've got 3rd and 8. It's called a 3rd and about 7. Wants to throw that slant pass again, and this time intended for Tyrone Leggett. He throws it behind him, incomplete, and Curtis will have to punt the ball away. They didn't take very much off the clock. They took about 45 seconds off the clock there. That's all.
Again, Tyrone Leggett has a step on the defender. St. Aug's playing nothing but man-to-man coverage. They run a slant route. He's got a step. If they could get the ball there, they've got a big gain. But the ball was thrown behind him, and he just could not reach around and catch it, and the ball is broken up with a good defense by the St. Aug DB.
That was Jamal Scott saying, no, not today. So Brock Onestell, if he ever needed a good long punt, he needs one now. Averages just under 40. It's a high snap. Here comes a big rush. He just got it off. And a reach and a fumble. Curtis may have it back. Curtis has got the football.
Ken, I said one of the keys to this game was they cannot make mistakes on special teams. Missed PAT, it started like that early for him, and now we've got a fumble on a punt return.
Colby Williams is usually back there. Garland LaFrance back there because Colby Williams was hurt. He's looking up high into the sun, and boom.
Tell you what, you're looking at that replay, Ken, the ball might have hit the leg of the Curtis defender first. I don't know if you saw that. You know, in high school football, they do not have the availability to go put their head under a hood and take a look at things for a replay. I tell you what, that is a huge turnaround right there for St. Aug.
That would even it out if they didn't get the call. Maybe we can look at that again down the road, but first down, nothing. Remember back in the first half, there was a fumble. Let's take another look.
Look at it right here. Hands around. Oh, my goodness.
Yes,
I did think that hit a person in a white jersey right on his knee.
I do. I agree with you. I think it hit him. It hit the Curtis defender first.
Right there. Saw it right off of his shin.
Yes.
Holy smokes.
Now, Curtis lost one call like that in the first half.
Correct.
That eventually led to a St. Augustine touchdown.
Correct. I mean, you don't.
So those breaks just even themselves out.
Well, you don't. Well, not really, because look at the time left on the clock, and it's a 2-point game. So there's never any even from a coach's standpoint.
Well said.
There's only right calls and wrong calls.
You're right. Chauncey Crum, the freshman running back, gets a few, and Curtis right now, they'd settle for 3 or 4 yards a carry and let the clock run. Under 4 minutes to go in this game.
Let me tell you something. That should have been seen by those line judges. You know, if I'm St. Aug and when I get home and I look at this replay right here, great pictures by our film crew here at WHNO, I tell you what, I'm going berserk. You know, that's got to be seen by those line judges.
Excellent video, guys. Excellent video. Yeah, the truck's not using film anymore. We're taking a break, but I say the same thing. We're going to take a break. Coming back with 3:29 to play. Curtis protecting a 2-point lead. All right, well, we wait for the teams to get things started with 3:29 to play. Let's go downstairs to Les East. Les, what do you have for us?
Yeah, guys, as you can see on the John Curtis helmets, there's a number 75 and the sketch of former head coach Mike Robertson's head on the helmets. They're wearing those in honor of the former offensive line coach who died during the offseason after a lengthy illness. And Curtis was known as much as anything else over the years for the ability to run this veer offense behind Mike Robertson's offensive line. And on 3rd and 6, they could use a vintage Mike Robertson performance from this offensive line. Ken?
Said Les, you're not kidding. And the bad pitch, Marquise Albert has to cover it up and saves disaster for the Curtis Patriots. Forget about the lost yardage. Just thank goodness for the Patriots, he was able to save that football.
I mean, Curtis sees where to attack. They're just not getting the pitch there. Do you remember the movie where they talked about in the movie they're changing their offense to the veer offense, and he says you got to feel the pitch.
Yeah.
They're not feeling the pitch. It's all out of kilter. It's either behind them, above them, or whatever. They know where to attack. They're just not getting the pitch there.
11-yard loss. They have to punt the football away. Once the lefty will have that low line drive was actually the better kick right there, and they did have Colby Williams back that time in place of Marquise Albert. He was back there. A 34-yard punt, just close to the average of Onestell, and now it's up to the Curtis defense with 2:42 to play to see if they can keep this young man right here, Colby Williams and Justice McCoy, from connecting on a pitch-catch combo for the St. Aug Purple Knights to take the lead. As Leslie's told you at the beginning of this broadcast, the Purple Knights have won 2 of the last 3. It's always come down to these last few minutes, and here we go again. 84 yards away. McCoy looking to throw. Screen left side. Barberin has room. Barberin gets out of bounds to stop the clock. Smart move by Barberin.
Barberin comes out of the backfield. Everything's covered vertically down the field. Nice job by Justice McCoy. You can see dumping it right off here to Barberin, who's wide open. He's sprinting for that sideline. Gets out and stops the clock.
And remember, when we said a few moments ago they were 84 yards away, that is truly 84 yards away. There is no field goal unit on this St. Aug team to speak of. So, and they're struggling with extra points right now. Barberin up the middle, not much, but he gets a few to the 30-yard line, so they're 70 yards away. Clock still ticking. Under 2:20 to play in the game.
Draw scheme, dropping the ball down, setting up the pass, dropping the ball down to the running back Barberin, who picks up a few.
Second down, 7. McCoy sets his back on the side of him for protection. 3-man rush. Flushed out of the pocket. He'll throw left side, throws it away over the intended receiver. He had to get rid of that ball because protection was breaking down.
Curtis playing a lot of deep zone right there, understanding that they've got to give up everything underneath them and make sure they defend deep, and making sure nobody's behind them, nowhere to throw the ball. Justice McCoy just throws it out of bounds right there.
Remember what's at stake on this drive, because there's only 3 undefeated teams in 9-5A. St. Aug, John Curtis, and Rummel, who's also playing tonight.
Well, you know, we talked about this in the open of the show, Ken. We talked about how jumbled that is right there. And Aug, Curtis, and Rummel. Rummel has Jesuit tonight, and Jesuit's a very good football team. Went down to the wire with St. Aug, losing that one in a close game. And Martin right there in the pack too. So I mean, it's drama. I keep saying it's the drama that is created every year in the Catholic League. I have been a part of it as a player, been a part of it as a coach, and it's so much fun to be a part of it from all angles.
Remember, both of these teams still have to play Rummel. Curtis plays them 2 weeks from tonight. St. Aug plays them at Gormley right here on I guess the last game, second last game or last game of the year. Justice McCoy. He's got the arm, he's got the running ability, but it's 3rd down 7. 4-down territory goes without saying. Here's your 3rd down play. McCoy, room to run if he wants. He's got Colby Williams, but can't find him. He's got to unload, and he throws it away out of bounds. It's going to come down to this play. 4th down and 7. They need to move the chains with 1:45 to play.
Well, they got to pick up the 1st down, so they got to look for something at the sticks. You know, they still have 2 timeouts left. All right, so what they have to end up doing is they've got to get the sticks. Let's be smart on our routes. Let's break some routes off or whatever they're going to run on their patterns and make sure that they sit at those sticks, get the 1st down. And now, from the defensive standpoint, Curtis has got to defend the sticks.
1 of 2 on 4th down conversions in this game for the Purple Knights. Here we go. 4th down, 7. Fake the screen. He's got a man wide open. That's Settles. Settles has the first down and is brought down at midfield. When they needed it, the big junior tight end wide receiver Keith Settles, 6'0", 195, makes a big-time play for the Purple Knights.
Ken, Settles sits down right at the sticks, open in the zone behind the linebacker, drops just as I said, wide open, delivered on the ball right there. The fake pulled the linebackers up. Big first down, keeps the chains moving with 135-34.
21-yard gain, moves it to the 49 of Curtis. Here's the screen, right side, goes to Josh White, his first reception today. White inside the 40-yard line, and the Purple Knights have picked it up.
You know, let me ask you a question, Ken. Should Curtis call a timeout and break this rhythm?
They've got 2, I would. 125. The clock is stopped while the chains move. Another first down for the Purple Knights. Yeah, maybe so. That'd be a great call to use one of your timeouts right now. Break this rhythm a little bit. Now the clock starts. McCoy is set. One protector, and he'll give it. Run up the middle. That's LaFrance. Straight ahead, close to another first down. He may have it. It's another. No first down. Clock is still running. A little bit short.
Little short
Missed
right
it
there.
by a yard.
Missed it by a yard.
But the
Missed
clock is running.
that
103, 102. McCoy taking his time to get this play in. It's under a minute to go now.
We got a whistle.
Now we've got a whistle. Curtis may have called timeout. Yes, timeout John Curtis. And there's your timeout. It might have come at a good time.
Well, I think it's a little late, but I also, from looking at their sideline, Curtis's coaching staff is ripping the officials about something. I don't know exactly what they're ripping them about, but they saw something to be able to get on them that hard. Curtis is pointing to the clock. I don't know if it's the play clock is not working properly or if it got reset wrong. Something happened on the 25-second clock that he is really upset about.
Oh, he is out. You see him on your screen, and he is having a good heart-to-heart conversation with Mark Galbraith, the referee.
So they call the timeout, they bring them over, settle them down a little bit. I think it's a good use of a timeout. 52 seconds left. Let's try to break the stride a little bit of this St. Aug offense.
You know what else is at stake in a game like this is the Division I power ratings. Let's take a look at that. John Curtis right up there at the top. St. Augustine at number 9.
You know, these teams are going to see each other again. If it ended today, they could see each other in the in the second round of the playoffs again, Ken.
McCoy is going to keep all the way. Big hole. It closes quickly, but he's got the first down. That'll stop the clock while they move the chains. 45 seconds to play.
That's quarterback keep all the way. He gets the ball, makes a little fake, but he knows he's keeping that. He's pulling that and trying to get up inside, and he gets good running room. See it right here. Quarterback draw with a lead blocker.
LaFrance is the running back behind him, not Barbary. Both have good speed. The give to LaFrance. LaFrance bounces outside, breaks one tackle, and then stumbles down. But he stays in. Now they did not get out of bounds, but the official stopped the clock because is he slow to get up? Timeout call. Timeout call.
Well, that was a smart thing to do. He's battling to get out of bounds. He just got out of the tackle of number 2, Tyler Blanco, right there, who missed it in the backfield. He's running to try to get out of bounds. Just doesn't get there, and St. Aug has to call timeout, leaves them with 1.
John Curtis has 1 timeout remaining at St. Aug 2.
I mean, I don't think this is in any type of situation where St. Aug can think field goal. They've got to think touchdown, as you said earlier, Ken.
They just don't have anybody who – the field goal kicker is your big offensive lineman with your extra point. That's Tyree Rhodes. Kyle Sims, another tight end, is your backup kicker. We haven't seen him kick very much this year. As a matter of fact, Sims is 1 of 6 on extra points.
Right.
So
remember 2 years ago, though? 2 years ago, ironically, St. Aug beat Curtis on a field goal.
Yeah.
So, that's 2 years ago, though. So, but we'll see what happens here. I mean, I've got to think that they've got to get to that goal line. I think the Curtis defense knows that, so they're going to have to defend it from that standpoint.
31 seconds to play. 2-point lead by Curtis. Second down, 5. McCoy fakes to LaFrance, throws the inside slant move, and it's incomplete. Intended for Jamal Jalla, the junior, who got a start in this game today.
Passes behind him off the play action. If he'd have put it on the money, it'd have been touchdown. Jalla had a step on the Curtis defender. If the ball would have been put right in his hands or on his chest, he'd have been walking into the end zone.
Only 2 seconds tick off the clock on that quick pass play. So now it's third down.
You know, they can still run the ball here, Ken. They've got that timeout to use, too, so let's think about that.
Third down, a little bit more than 5. Third, about 5.5, almost 6. You've got both Barberin and LaFrance in as protectors for McCoy. They're both there to block. He's looking for same man. Overthrown, intended for Jalla. And a flag goes down. Now a second flag goes down.
Oh, the
Two
flag's
flags
late.
go down in the end zone.
The flag is real late. There's nothing more I hate as a coach is a flag coming out that late on some sort of interference call, whether offensively or defensively. But remember, it's not an automatic first down.
Well, it's about 5.5, 6 yards for the first down, so let's see. It's going against.
Pass interference. 15 yards.
Offensively.
Still third down.
Holy smoke, still third down. It's not a loss of down like it used to be.
But instead of being 3rd and 6, now you're looking at 3rd and about 21. It was 3rd really in about 5, a little bit more than 5, 5.5. So now it's 3rd and about 20.5.
The coverage out there was applied by Tyler Blanco in a perfect position on the vertical route. Did a great job. St. Aug, offensive interference. It's going to move the ball back.
The first down marker is at almost the 15-yard line. John Curtis uses another one of their, well, they used their last timeout. So Curtis uses their last timeout with 22 seconds. St. Aug still has 2 timeouts, a lot of 2s, 2 timeouts, 22 seconds to play.
Oh, I like the timeout by Curtis right here. It's all or nothing. And what's got to take place is things have got to get straight. I'm sure JT right there had a conversation with the officials.
With the official again.
Right, ripping him about something. And, you know, he's I can't read his lips.
He's pleading his
Right.
case with the referee, Galbraith.
Right, he's pleading his case, but I like the timeout. Now you can talk to your secondary over there. You can talk to your defensive line, make sure that they're got their assignment down as far as what type of stunts you want on, any type of blitzes you want, and making sure that the secondary is told, guys, look, we can't let them in the end zone from the standpoint that that's where they have to go. They can't kick a field goal.
This one's going down to the wire. Let's see what Curtis will have after this one. And you're playing St. Aug. They got Holy Cross. Of course, Holy Cross is without their quarterback, so they're struggling this year. Shaw struggling this year. Rummel coming up. So that's circle the Rummel game on that schedule. Here's your third down. 20. Barberin. Remember, he's a backup quarterback. He can throw. Back to McCoy. The big man reaches out, makes the catch, but he's out of bounds. Is it a catch? It's still short of the first down, but it gets him close. It is a catch, but he's short of the first down.
Well defended.
Nothing moved off the clock. There's still 22 seconds on the clock. JT Curtis is on the field, and he is screaming, how can they run a play, and the clock doesn't move?
Very well defended by the Curtis defense right there. They saw McCoy coming out of the backfield on the throwback by Barberin right there, and I tell you what, right there, Johnny on the spot, very well coached up is that Curtis defense, but you're right. They did not run the clock, so they're going to have to run it off.
They're going to run down to, let's see, they started at 22. They ran 7 seconds off the clock down to 15 seconds.
Here's my problem with that from the St. Aug standpoint. How do you know that's how much the play went?
You don't.
All right, you
it's
don't.
It's a guess.
So it's a guess. I've got an issue from the St. Aug standpoint.
Look at Al Jones. Al Jones is
right.
Al Jones is probably saying you're supposed to run not as much.
Right there, I'm screaming, hey, that play only took 4 seconds.
Absolutely.
I'm screaming that.
Absolutely, and that's what he's talking with Galbraith about right now. So neither coach happy with not clock management, with the clock itself. Clock management's been fine by both of these coaches. It's the clock. Al Jones, he's going, it should have been 4 seconds. JT saying it should have been 11 seconds.
This is it right here.
2 for 3 on 4th down. Here's your game right here. If they don't make the first down, it's over. McCoy, lots of time, throws over the middle and is batted down. John Curtis seals the deal. Garrett Wallow, number 1, the TCU commit. Go to your big players for the big play, and the gamer just made it happen. Garrett Wallow, how about that?
John Curtis only brings 3 people on the pressure right here. McCoy has all day. And look at this play right here by Wallow. Steps right in front of it, and he almost picks it off. Great play to seal the deal for the Curtis Patriots.
It always comes down to the final seconds when Curtis and St. Aug play, and now over the last 4 years, each team has won twice.
St. Aug can stop the clock once right here, and then it's all over. They're going to kneel on it, and possibly 2 plays by Curtis on a kneel.
Wow. Yeah, St. Aug has 1 timeout if they choose to call it. Garrett Wallow plays the deep safety spot back there, and he deserves to be in there for the final 2 plays of this one, even though he's a defensive back. Disappointed. There you see the agony of defeat that came so close right there.
Well, I'll tell you what, those guys need to keep their heads up because there's got to be quick memories in the Catholic League. Big golfing for them to get back to next week.
Yeah, the thrill of victory on the other side, but St. Aug played a great football game and a great comeback. But post-game is next as the John Curtis Patriots hold on for the 28-26 win. Back in a moment. Welcome back. Curtis holds on for the big 28-26 win. Let's go downstairs to Les East with the winning coach, J.T. Curtis.
Thanks, Ken. I'm here with the winning coach, J.T. Curtis. Not exactly the way you would have drawn it up, but you get out here with a W. What made the difference?
Well, I just the way we played hard, but so did they. It's 2 football teams that have a lot of pride, that played extremely hard. We were fortunate to come out with the win. Obviously, we'll take it, try to improve in this, and move on to next week.
Your defense came up with some big plays when they had to. Talk about their play.
Well, you can't ask them to do more. We put them in such bad positions throughout the ball game. I don't know if I've ever seen balls taken out of guys' hands more than I've seen in this game, but we just kept putting our defense in a bad position, and I thought they responded well.
Kind of a typical Curtis St. Aug game given the last few years?
If you look at the last 4 or 5 years, it's exactly what it comes to, and that's what makes high school football great.
Thank you, J.T. Curtis. Back to you, Ken.
Thank you very much, Les. And your final thoughts on this big, great game, but big Curtis win to stay undefeated in 9-5A.
Well, as J.T. Curtis said, it's high school football at its best, the Catholic League at its best, and it's fun. I tell you what, if you look at the total yards and the final stats and things, it's kind of a lopsided number with St. Aug 356 yards total offense to John Curtis 175. But the story of the game, both ways, are turnovers, and there were a bunch of them here today. But I tell you what fun to watch from 2 competitive football teams.
Feel bad for St. Aug. If they could have made 2 extra points, we'd be playing overtime, but not to be. John Curtis, the winner, and we were treated, and you were treated, folks, to a great game. We want to thank everybody for joining us on the first NBC Bank Prep Showcase. We have more Saturday prep action for you next week as Newman takes on Country Day. That is live Saturday at 2 p.m. on Sports NOLA, or you can watch the same day rebroadcast at 6 p.m. on WHNO TV 20. For Wade Kaiser, Les East, Leah Kaiser, and Tommy Cooper in the booth with us, and our great WHNO crew, and I'm telling you, they treated you to some fantastic shots tonight. I'm Ken Berthelot. Once again, your final score is John Curtis holding on to beat St. Aug 28-26. What a game from Tad Gormley Stadium. Thanks for being with us this afternoon. A pleasant good afternoon, everybody.